My goodness, has a lot happened since we've last been together. Guys, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. We have a tremendous show lined up for you. But I have to tell you, since the last time we were together, we had a fake moon re-entry. Yes, it was fake. It was fake. That's okay, though. That's okay, though. Everyone now realizes it. I have no idea why they were doing it. I don't know what they were trying to accomplish. But it's serious business, folks. There's something going on up there that, or they want us to believe something's going on up there. But hey, we don't want to get bogged down on the facts. So that happened. We had a live members show with the great Zach Costello Friday. That was phenomenal. That was absolutely amazing. He is a brilliant, brilliant podcaster. I don't love the word podcast. I know it's in the title of this show. I don't know that it will always be in the title of this show. I might boot it at some point. I don't love it's the best we've got right now. And I don't know if a better word is going to come along. I know broadcast doesn't quite work because broadcast is the radio waves. It goes out over the air. It just falls down on people freely. And if they have the right receiver, they can pick it up. And that's not the case with podcasting. You have to have some technological prowess to access it. But neither here nor there. He's a great podcaster, great broadcaster, whatever you want to call him. And we had a great discussion. If you're not a member, you missed it. It was a phenomenal discussion. He's a very, very bright guy, very faithful guy, has a lot of deep philosophical and religious underpinnings to everything he says and does. If you'll notice, my camera, I don't even know. I wasn't going to say anything, but it's driving me crazy. My camera's a little tighter than it normally is because I had it tuned for my members only stream with Zach. When I'm, side by side with somebody, I want to be about the same size they are. So I was, adjusting the zoom back and forth, and I forgot to unadjust the zoom back and forth. So I'm tight today. I mean, it's in on me. Like it feels like you're right here on me. It's okay though. We're going to survive. We're going to survive. Yes, this is Ferrari red, people. This is exactly what this is. Now, it's Indiana University National Championship red. Let's get that right. But we've got a lot to do. One thing I want to do today, I want to make sure we do. I want to make sure we don't forget to do this. We've got to triple down on our timeline. We're tripling down on our timeline. But Baron, does that mean you're 100% sure you're right? Well, close. I'm never 100% sure about anything, but I'm pretty close to 100% sure. I feel like there's more evidence in my favor than the haters who've come out to try to say that we're wrong or we're intentionally misleading people. I'm not intentionally misleading you. I'm the first person to correct myself if I get something wrong. But you've got to give me something better than, that's not going to cut it. Not when I'm looking at a document that says he was arrested by the Utah SBI at 10 o'clock. You can't then tell me he turned himself in at 10:26. That math doesn't math. That doesn't work, ladies and gentlemen. So I am relying on the documents I see with my own two peepers. I'm not relying on Fed slop. I'm not relying on the federal government that lied to us about JFK, that lied to us, frankly, about World War II, that lied to us about the Vietnam War, that lied to us about the USS Liberty, that lied to us about 9/11, that lied to us about weapons of mass destruction, that lied to us about COVID, that lied to us about Russiagate, that lied to us about... I'm not relying on them. You're going to have to give me documentary evidence. I'm not going to rely on the statements of those people, not when I have an arrest sheet that says he was arrested at 10 o'clock. If you're confused, go watch the last week's show. They were good. Oh, man, I'm heated already. I did not mean to get this heated, but I wore red. That means I get heated when I'm wearing red. It's like a miniature battle bun. And then it was great. We went to dinner last night, and we went to a place where I've mentioned on this program a few times. And the owners came by and sat down, and she was like, Baron Coleman? I was like, yeah. She said, you sent a lot of people in here. I was like, oh, yeah? Yeah? You should pay me. No, I didn't say that. I'm kidding. I don't take advertising. But it was a nice moment, and I'm glad you guys have enjoyed it. The place is one of my favorite places around. I don't want to say the name of it. I've said it many times. I don't want to say the name of it only because I don't want people to think they bought me off or anything. No, I went, paid full price, tipped, whole 9 yards. But I did want to mention that it was nice. It was nice that to have them say, hey, you mentioned something on there, and a whole host of people have come rolling through here because of it. So that was a nice little confirmation that we have a nice little community here. We have a good family. No, I don't want to say family. That sounds a little too EK, if you know what I mean. Okay. The opening's fun today. And unusually what I'm going to do today on the opening is I'm going to give the opening, and then I'm going to give a little application of the opening. And then I'll go into the story tonight because the application of the opening could be its own show, and I don't want to do a whole show on it. I just want to mention it. It's a cool opening. It's a cool story that I didn't know a whole lot about. I'd heard about it, obviously. It popped in my mind. I thought, I want to do an opening on them one day. But then the more I read about it, the more I thought, oh, Fed slop. It's Fed slop. That's all it is. So it has great application, and we'll get to that. Are you guys buckled in? Do you have your 5-point safety harness buckled in? Do you have a whole seat available, but you're only using the edge? Because I am. I'm sorry. It's a fact. It's a fact. Oh, I do have proof they faked that moon landing, at least the reentry, but we can get to that another time. I don't know if I have time to get to that today. But I do feel like we can prove that they faked it. And maybe we will. Maybe we will. All right, you ready? Are you ready? I'm ready. I'm ready. This is a fun opening. I like this one, and I love the Fed slop application. So, with your permission and without further ado, this is your opening statement. In the early 1950s, America was developing quite the fascination with flying saucers and spiritualism. That's when a small group of apocalyptic people known as the Seekers emerged in the Chicago suburb of Oak Park, Illinois. The Seekers was a tight-knit collective that never exceeded more than a few dozen members at its peak. At its core, there was a group of no more than 10 to 20 really highly committed individuals. They gained lasting fame, not for their size, not for their longevity, but for the dramatic failed prophecy and the psychological insights the failed prophecy provided into human belief systems. It was documented in the 1956 book, When Prophecy Fails. The Seekers exemplified how deeply invested individuals respond when irrefutable reality collides with their cherished convictions. The group's story centers on its leader, Dorothy Martin. It also involves their eclectic blend of ufology, occultism, channeled messages, and the striking way they navigated disinformation. These patterns were later analyzed through the lens of the emerging field of psychology that became known as cognitive dissonance. Though the group dissolved relatively quickly after its central prediction collapsed, its brief existence offers a really compelling case study in the psychology of faith under pressure. Dorothy Martin, the undisputed leader and spiritual conduit of the Seekers, was a 54-year-old housewife. Her background blended everyday domestic life with what can only be described as esoteric interests. She was born around 1900. It's debated. She had dabbled in theosophy, attended lectures on occult topics, explored the quasi-fascist I Am movement, studied the channeled Ophspi scripture. I don't know how to pronounce it, folks. This is serious business. And briefly engaged with Dianetics, which was the precursor to Scientology. She even practiced automatic writing. That's where you take a piece of paper and you just hold the pen, but you allow it to move freely across the paper. It's purportedly guided by external intelligences. Either demons or it's fake, but we'll get there. In 1953, Martin began receiving messages she attributed to her deceased father and, soon after, to extraterrestrial guardians from the planet Clarion. Martin positioned herself as a medium, relaying directives from higher beings, including Sanandra, who she claimed was a reincarnated or ascended form of Jesus Christ, among other cosmic entities. Her home became the group's informal headquarters, where she would enter trance-like states or sit at a table to transcribe urgent missives from beyond. Her charisma lay not in fiery speeches, but in her calm, matter-of-fact delivery of these revelations. She presented them as literal instructions for survival. Supporters viewed her as chosen, a bridge between earthly existence and interstellar wisdom. Others, including some family members, saw her as eccentric or even outright deluded. However, within the group, her authority was absolute. Her role extended beyond prophecy. She offered personal guidance, interpreted dreams, and enforced preparatory rituals, fostering intense loyalty among the followers. And these followers included housewives, students, one physician, and others drawn from flying saucer enthusiast circles and occult network. The Seekers' belief system formed a combined cosmology that wove UFO lore, Christian eschatology, and theosophical ideas into a coherent apocalyptic narrative. At its core, the core conviction of the Seekers was that the earth faced imminent destruction by a massive flood. And they had a specific date. This flood would take place on December 21st, 1954. Messages channeled through Martin warned that cataclysmic waters would submerge much of the continent, punishing humanity's moral failings while sparing the spiritually attuned. Select believers, including the Seekers, would be evacuated moments before the deluge by flying saucers dispatched from Clarion and other planets. These spacecraft, which would be piloted by the benevolent guardians, would land discreetly, and it would require all the followers to remove all metal objects from their clothing and bodies, zippers, buttons, jewelry. They wanted to avoid interference with the ship's magnetic technology. The chosen would be whisked to safety, perhaps to other worlds or higher dimensions, while the remaining unrepentant people would perish. Broader tenets included reincarnation, vibrational energies, the existence of multiple inhabited planets, and a cosmic hierarchy where Sanandra and the Guardians acted as enlightened teachers. Martin's automatic writings provided minute details that included the exact pickup time, strict dietary restrictions, warnings against doubt. The group rejected mainstream science and organized religion, viewing them as corrupted by materialism. Preparation was both practical and symbolic. Members quit their jobs, dropped out of school, severed family ties, donated all their possessions, and then gathered nightly for vigils and message sessions. This high level of behavioral commitment amplified the group's cohesion. Participants had staked their reputations, their finances, and their relationships on the prophecy's truth. By the fall of 1954, the Seekers had coalesced into a functional community. Recruitment occurred quietly through personal networks rather than mass appeals. The core assembled at Martin's residence on the prophesied night. The room was tense with anticipation. They sang hymns, they reviewed the instructions, and they closely monitored the clocks as midnight approached. 12 o'clock came and went. Obviously, no flying saucers materialized. The hours ticked by into mounting anxiety. Some members started weeping. Others just sat there in stunned silence. The flood never came. At approximately 4:45 a.m., just a few hours after the missed appointment with the end of the world, wouldn't you know, Martin received a fresh automatic writing message. And it declared that the group's collective light, including their faith, their prayers, their positive spiritual energy, had been so powerful that God had spared the world from destruction. The catastrophe was averted precisely because of the devotion of the Seekers. The prophecy had not failed at all. It succeeded, and it succeeded in a more profound and merciful way. Elation immediately replaced despair. Members embraced the reinterpretation. They felt vindicated rather than foolish. By afternoon, several began contacting reporters and sharing the good news, shifting from secretive preparation to public testimony. This pivot forms the heart of the group's historical significance. It's the only reason we know who they are, because it directly illustrates a key psychological process. And that's what I want to talk about. I'm going to expand on this after the open. The key psychological process is known as cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance. This is a foundational concept in social psychology. It was first formalized by a guy named Leon Festinger in his 1957 book, A Theory on Cognitive Dissonance. The term describes the mental discomfort and tension arising when an individual holds two or more contradictory cognitions simultaneously. Cognitions are beliefs attitudes or pieces of knowledge. And when you hold two of them that are in opposition, you sense this mental discomfort, this tension arises. For instance, one might believe I am intelligent and I am rational. And you must also then at the same time confront evidence that I am heavily invested in a prediction that proved false. This is a clash, and this clash produces psychological stress, and it is as ravenous and as essential to a person as the desires of hunger and thirst. The mind is relentlessly driven to resolve it. And so you want to reduce this cognitive dissonance. And doing this might include changing your mind. That's pretty obvious, but as we'll see, it's not easy. Acquiring new supporting information. So maybe you realize you have cognitive dissonance and you go out and search for information that can help reduce it. You minimize the importance of the conflict. So say you see a fact and it causes cognitive dissonance, you just say, well, that's not a very important fact. Or you alter behavior, to align with that original belief. The intensity of cognitive dissonance grows with the importance of the conflicting elements. But it also grows with the degree of personal commitment or public investment. For example, in very high stakes scenarios involving significant sunk costs, like a prior investment of time, investment of money, social identity, irreversible actions, people rarely change their minds. Rarely, if ever. Instead, they bolster their position by reinterpreting or ignoring key evidence that they're wrong. The theory revolutionized understandings of attitude change, decision-making, and belief perseverance, and influenced fields as far-flung as marketing and political operations. It explains why smokers downplay health risks, why investors hold on to failing stocks, or why political partisans dismiss contradictory facts. Dissonance reduction, this desire to reduce the cognitive dissonance, it preserves self-esteem and worldview coherence, but it can lead to irrational behavior, irrational escalation. This framework is obviously profoundly relevant to the seekers. Their failed prophecy created precisely the conditions that would maximize cognitive dissonance. They had a deep personal investment. They had deep social support within the group. They had an unambiguous disconfirmation. What that means is you couldn't look at the failed prophecy and find anything except failure. Members had quit their jobs. They had intentionally alienated their families. They had publicly committed to an end-time scenario with a particular end date. Admitting error would shatter their identities. It would invite ridicule they wouldn't be able to handle. That's why that 4:45 a.m. message is key. It provided an elegant dissonance-reducing cognition. We're going to talk about that tonight. That's really what I want to drill down on. It provided an elegant dissonance-reducing cognition. In other words, rather than admit they were wrong, they were able to believe their faith saved the world. That belief transformed failure into success. This reframing restored consistency in their life. The guardians remained trustworthy. Martin's mediumship remained validated. The group's sacrifices remained meaningful. The subsequent surge in proselytizing by granting interviews and seeking converts added further social proof. It reduced cognitive dissonance by expanding the believer community. Not every member persisted, by the way. Some quietly left the group. But the committed core actually experienced heightened conviction after the failed prediction. This is exactly what cognitive dissonance theories would suggest would happen. This behavior was not mere denial. It was an active psychological repair. These seekers illustrated how prophecy failures can actually paradoxically strengthen movements when conditions align. Obviously, the seekers are no longer still around. Following the end of the world prediction, the group's momentum eventually waned over time, even if it had a brief uptick immediately following. Martin continued channeling occasionally, but by the next year or so, even the committed core of the seekers had moved on. Martin later relocated. She adopted the name Sister Thedra. and engaging with other esoteric circles until her death in 1992, the seekers remind us that these beliefs are not surrendered, not easily anyway, when they're intertwined with your identity and your community. Their story continues to illuminate why failed predictions range from ancient millenarian movements to modern conspiracy theories often spawn renewed zeal rather than collapse. And in an area of polarized information and echo chambers, understanding this dynamic right now is urgently relevant, urgently relevant. And that is your opening statement. I hope you enjoyed as much as I do. Let me tell you why I think this is so important right now. Last week, we found a legal document. And that legal document said that Tyler Robinson was arrested by Brian Davis of the Utah State Bureau of Investigation at 10 p.m. You have two options. You either accept that as reality or you think it's a lie. The question we have is, why would that lie persist on a legal document? I don't know. Particularly one of the very earliest legal documents that would have been created. And it would have been created, by the way, initially in Washington County. So why would you bother creating that document if it's not accurate? Because after we found that, we made an obvious legal conclusion, or an obvious logical conclusion. Well, if Tyler Robinson was in custody and being interrogated at 6:25 p.m., at 10 p.m., whoever got him at 10 p.m., Brian Davis, would have had to leave the Salt Lake City area, or perhaps the Orem or Provo area, but one of those two areas, to go get him. And that's a 3.5+ hour drive, which means they would have had to know he existed prior to 10 p.m. And they would have had to know where he was, at least what area he was in, to start heading that way. We searched ADSB, we searched flight radar. We could find no helicopter or plane, at least with an ADSB transponder on, that would have given Brian Davis a ride, not to arrive before 10 p.m. And so we concluded he drove, and I think it's a fair conclusion. And again, if he drove, it's a 3.5 hour drive. So we had that one document, arrest by Brian Davis at 10 p.m. And then we discovered another document. The other document suggested he was being interrogated and Mirandized at 6:25 p.m. on the evening of his arrest. And we know he was arrested at 10 p.m. on September 11th. So the evening of his arrest would be 6:25 p.m. on September 11th. In addition to on the evening of his arrest, we have context clues of why Tyler likely would have been being interrogated on September 11th at 6:25 p.m. and not September 12th at 6:25 p.m. Among those are, he says there's a fellow here that I want as my lawyer here, and his name's Doug Terry. Well, Doug Terry is in Washington County. That's here. That's here. I hear he's a pretty good lawyer here. That's one context clue. Another context clue was that Tyler Robinson said that his office was closed for the night, not for the weekend, but for the night. Tyler Robinson obviously knew that his office was closed. He is in touch with someone very recently about whether or not the office was open. Now, here's what happened. We know this happened after 10 p.m. At 10 p.m., he was arrested by Brian Davis of the State Bureau of Investigation. Then he was transported to Utah County. He would not have had contact with his parents at that time. He was then held all day. In fact, he's still being held to this day. It's untenable to me to hold the position that Tyler Robinson went home on September 11th, talked to his family, talked to his friend who's a law enforcement professional on the afternoon of September 11th, decided to turn himself in on the afternoon or early evening of September 11th. And then nobody tried to contact a lawyer for 24 hours. Your son is being alleged to have committed the most high-profile political assassination in this country in 63 years. 62 years at the time, I guess. It's an untenable position to say yes, and his parents waited a full 24 hours to even begin the process of reaching out to a lawyer. That's nonsense. This family wasn't destitute. They were an upper middle class family in a St. George, a pretty high end area. I mean, it's not like, not like you're living in the inner city in some project housing. I mean, it's a nice area. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's nice. A lot of people would love to live in a place like St. George. Good schools, good neighbors, no crime, low crime. And so we have all these context clues that would place the 625 Mirandizing on the evening of his arrest, which we do know to be September 11th at 10 p.m. And so we released this information on 2 different shows last week. We released this information. I am immediately savage. This community is immediately savage. We were savaged because, well, the document didn't say it was September 11th. It could have been September 12th. Yeah, it could have been. He also could have been interrogated by talking pigs. Probably not accurate. He could have been interrogated on the USS Enterprise. Probably not accurate, but he could have been. When every context clue around it suggests that he was being interrogated at 6:25 p.m., 3.5 hours before Brian Davis of the State Bureau of Investigation shows up at 10 p.m. to arrest him, as we know because we have a document that says that's the time he was arrested by Brian Davis of the State Bureau of Investigation. And the other side predictably panicked. They did what they do. They panicked. They've been caught lying. They've been caught wrong with their pants down. I'll suggest tonight why they're all getting caught with their pants down over and over. And we'll go through this in detail, and you'll understand why I believe we're right on this. But they release a document over the weekend that says he did not turn himself in until 10:26 p.m., at which time, supposedly, or at some point after that, he was arrested. So, of course, how could he be interrogated at 6:25 p.m.? How could he assert his Fifth Amendment and Sixth Amendment rights under the United States Constitution at 6:25 p.m.? How could he be read the rights given to him under the Fifth and Sixth Amendment of the United States Constitution under Miranda? How could he be given those rights at 6:25 p.m. when he wasn't even in custody until 10:26? He didn't even turn himself in until 10:26 p.m. Well, I would suggest that's just a lie. The 10:26 is not accurate. It can't be. It can't be. Because even if Brian Davis left the moment that the FedSlop timeline tells us that the State Bureau of Investigation was notified, or at least the Utah County Sheriff was notified, that was 8:04. Even if he left right then, he doesn't show up till 11:30. It's 3.5 hours away. Unless they're driving 120 the whole way, which why would you? He's in custody. I mean, why would you risk citizens on Utah highways? You could just drive the speed limit. He's not going anywhere. He voluntarily surrendered himself. He's not going anywhere. Just drive safely, get there safely. Don't endanger the lives of Utahns and visitors up and down Utah highways. And so the 10:26 time period didn't even make sense. But nobody's even bother addressing the 10 p.m. document. That's what bothers me. That's the cognitive dissonance. That's why I wanted to do this opening. The cognitive dissonance is there's a verifiable piece of information we have in our possession that suggests he was arrested by the Utah State Bureau of Investigation agent Brian Davis at 10 p.m. and nobody's talking about it. They're all just ignoring it like it's not there. It's there, ladies and gentlemen. I showed it on 2 different days. It's on Twitter. It's on X. It's on state website. It's there. And I'm telling you, it exists. You can't keep saying that he didn't show up until 10:26. You have to address the 10 p.m. timeline, and you have to say one of 2 things. Either it's a fake document, which is nonsense, or it's a lie, also nonsense. These documents are accurate to the second sometimes, certainly to the minute. The other time periods are like 1:58 a.m. So you would think it's accurate. But we're going to go through tonight a series of text messages. We have the charging document, the text messages as listed in the charging documents. And we have a series of search warrants, and we will go through the text messages that are listed in the search warrants. And what we'll discover tonight is that the situation changed. The situation changed. Much like Lee Harvey Oswald, I don't believe Tyler Robinson was supposed to live. Much like Thomas Matthew Crooks, I don't believe Tyler Robinson was supposed to live. A dead patsy is a closed case. It's over. It's over. There's nothing else to talk about. The problem is, I believe in my heart of hearts that Tyler Robinson got wise to a plan to remove him from this mortal coil. And he decided, rather than take it lying down, rather than just be taken out by thugs and criminals that he had got himself caught up with, that he would seek the help of his family and a family friend in law enforcement. And they would turn him over to a trusted sheriff, a sheriff they trusted and knew. And that guy would guarantee his protection, at least guarantee his survival. But if he was on the run, he would be killed. Imagine yourself as a patsy. You're told by someone, hey, we've got this thing going on. I need your help. Okay, yeah, sure. What do you got going on? We're gonna make Charlie Kirk look really stupid. Oh, great. Tell me more about it. I'm in. Oh man, he's performing up at Utah Valley University. He's gonna have a tent event. You know how kids show up and ask questions? Yeah. We got a prank that's just gonna light the world on fire. They're gonna love it. Oh, great. What do I need to do? We're gonna do a fake shooting, a gunshot. We're gonna fire a gun. Oh, okay. Or we're gonna do whatever the prank is. I'm in. Count me in. I'm in. All right, here's what I need you to do. I need you to leave your house at this time and drive here. Wait for a call. We'll tell you where to go next. Okay. Okay, now I need you to head over here. Good. Park here and walk over here. Oh, yeah. And you just get led all over the place. I think something like that probably happened. And then all of a sudden, as the news begins breaking, Tyler realizes, wait a minute. They're pinning this on me. He's dead. I watched it. Everybody's seen the video by that point, even Tyler Robinson. And they're pinning it on me. Hey, Tyler, we're going to gather up at this remote location and debrief, talk about it. Oh, okay, I'm on my way. Oh, wait a minute. That's probably a bad idea. I should get some help. I've gotten in too deep. I think that something like that probably happened. Now, am I married to that? No. Could facts come out that convince me Tyler Robinson pulled the trigger of a 30-06 and killed Charlie Kirk? Yeah, sure. Those facts don't exist now. In fact, every fact I see in this case now indicates to me that's not what happened. But I'm not married to any one theory. Do I think the Rode microphone had something to do with it? Yeah, it moved weirdly. It did. Do I think his necklace had something to do with it? Yeah, it definitely moved weirdly. Definitely moved weirdly. And they made such a big deal out of the necklace moving, or the necklace, where the necklace was. And, oh, here's the necklace. It's in one piece. Here, all the charms are here. They're accounted for. They made such a big deal about the necklace. It just makes you wonder, right? So you have a necklace that moves weirdly that they're fascinated with, telling us about the whereabouts of this necklace and that it's okay. Oh, Erica wears it around everywhere. It's fine. And the Rode microphone, of course, it moved weird. And John Bray has done, unbelievable work on the Rode microphone. More than anybody in the country, more than anybody on planet Earth. There's nobody who's done more work on the Rode microphone theory than John Bray. Period. End of story. But here's how far these guys are committed to their cause. Thursday night, I did an episode where we looked at the shadow length of the alleged 8:07 a.m. picture. This picture was published by the New York Post. And the New York Post said, according to law enforcement, this picture is purported to be from 8:07 a.m. I started looking at the picture and I thought, that doesn't make sense. That shadow doesn't add up. That shadow hasn't moved much. And they had two pictures, one at 8:07 and one at like 11:40 something. I thought, those shadows don't look like they're in the right position. So I get out the old handy shadow calculator and I look, and that shadow's supposed to be like 30 feet long at that time in the morning, 8:07 a.m. And you look at the shadow and it might be 10 feet long at most. I thought that something's wrong here. So I immediately look, has anyone covered this before? I put out on X, tell me what you find when you use a shadow calculator. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing with a shadow calculator. I'm humble, right? I'm your humble host. And I say that for a reason. I genuinely am. I'm not so prideful to think if I discover a shadow calculator, I've used it properly. So I put out on X a clarion call. Help me. Tell me what you find when you run this metric through a shadow calculator. Make sure I'm doing it right. And then I go to YouTube and I think, has anyone else calculated the shadow lengths of these pictures? And I found a guy named Gray Hughes. Seems like a bright guy. I watched the episode. I disagreed with his conclusion. I mean, he tries to fit it into a narrative of where Tyler's moving all over the place. But he never asked the question, why would anyone have said that this photo was at 8:07, whether it was the Steele family where the photo came from or whether it was law enforcement. Why would anyone claim that this is at 8:07 a.m.? It wasn't. It couldn't have been. The shadow doesn't fit. So the picture is bull butter, right? So the time, at least, is bull butter. Gray, I think, accurately calculated it was early after 10 o'clock, maybe 10:05, 10:10, somewhere in that area. And so I come on air Thursday night and I say, hey, I found this guy. And when I do a shadow calculator, it looks like the shadow's the wrong length. When he does a shadow calculator, he has a shadow program, and it even looks like it's the wrong angle. So he lines up the angle, and I think he's right. The response I got from Gray, among others, was that I'm an idiot. He's already solved this. Well, yeah, that's why I used it. He's already solved it. Why am I going to recreate something he's already done? Thank you, Gray. That was good work. He's using misinformation. His boss, Candace, is the one that said 8:07. No. His boss, Candace, is not the one that said 8:07. I only have one boss. That's Mrs. Coleman. She makes a good coconut chicken Thai. Thai coconut chicken. That's the only boss I answer to. But it's unbelievable to me, the cognitive dissonance held by the other side. They are so unwilling to rethink any position. They will justify, minimize. They hold this cognitive dissonance, and their reduction mechanism is just to ignore any evidence to the contrary. They just look at it and they say, well, obviously, we're not going to pay attention to that. They're not even mentioning that there's an arrest document that says he was arrested at 10 a.m. They keep going and saying, no, he wasn't arrested till 4 a.m. He wasn't arrested till 2 a.m. Yeah, you're using the same document I'm using that says he was arrested at 10 a.m. Just look to the left. Look like up 2 cells and over 1. You'll see the exact number I'm talking about. Tell me why that number's there. And more importantly, tell me how the officer got there by 10 p.m. What time would he have had to leave the Salt Lake City or Orem or Provo area in order to arrive in St. George by 10 p.m.? And why is that time so conveniently identical to the time when Tyler Robinson was being interrogated or being Mirandized? And you can tell me all you want as a non-lawyer or anything else. You can tell me all you want about how things are done. Oh, he's re-Mirandized the next night. Yeah, probably was. Probably was Mirandized several times, actually. But no sheriff, no 30-year sheriff, the chief law enforcement officer of Washington County, Utah, no sheriff is going to take in a suspect of the most high-profile political assassination in 62 years, put him down in a chair and not Mirandize him. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. Why? What if he burst out a confession? What if Tyler, and we're told, whether it's true or not, we're told he confessed to his parents, like minutes, maybe 10, 20, 30 minutes, maybe an hour before he shows up at the Washington County Sheriff's Office. We're told that he had confessed many times on Discord and text messages. We'll look at those tonight and we'll figure out whether we believe those are real or not, but we're told those exist. So he shows up and the Washington County Sheriff believes he's in a posture to confess. He's in a posture to confess. And if you have a criminal defendant of the most high-profile political assassination in 62 years, and you believe he shows up in a posture to confess, you're told he did, shows up in a posture, you're gonna Mirandize him in case he does. You're gonna Mirandize him in case he does. Custody plus interrogation requires Miranda. And I'm telling you, interrogation is very loosely defined by the United States Supreme Court. It could be looks. It could be statements. It could be anything. If the Washington County Sheriff goes in and sits down with him and says, what do you, hey, how you doing? Good to see you tonight. I did it. They could say, oh, he was interrogating me. Throw the confession out. And a judge might agree with him. Well, he was in custody. He wasn't free to leave. That's custody. Are you free to leave? He wasn't free to leave, so he was in custody. And you did ask him how he was doing. I mean, Sounds like interrogation. You wouldn't take the chance. The sheriff of Washington County would be the biggest boob in the history of mankind if Tyler Robinson confessed to him and it got tossed because he didn't Mirandize him. They're going to Mirandize him. They're going to do it on tape, or they're going to get him to sign a Miranda statement. So I don't want to hear that this guy somehow wasn't Mirandized while he was sitting in Washington County. All that said, if we get the documents, if we get a recording that shows what time he showed up, oh, that's another thing. Isn't it convenient that the recording that shows what time he showed up is not available? They deleted it. They deleted it. They deleted it. Can you imagine if Lee Harvey Oswald had turned himself in and the Dallas Police Department had deleted the video of him turning himself in? We would be exercised. We would be outraged. We would be beside ourselves. They would never delete that if it showed he showed up at 10:26 p.m. Period. End of story. And then you have neighbors, friends, family, community members in the very small town of St. George, Utah, texting each other before 7 o'clock p.m. saying that Tyler had turned himself in, saying that Tyler had surrendered himself. They knew who it was. Why would they be texting each other that? And then they didn't do it for 3.5 hours after? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. So I don't want to get too bogged down on that, but I had to address it because the cognitive dissonance held by the other side, and whenever they confront information that challenges their presupposition, they just explain it away. They just don't even ignore. They just ignore it. They just totally ignore it. So I want to go through some of these text messages. And I want to go through them in a detailed capacity, a detailed format. We have the probable cause affidavit. That was the first piece of document we had. The probable cause affidavit does not include text messages. So there's nothing to compare there. There are descriptions of text messages. There are descriptions of what was found on phones, like the need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point. I'm visually watching the drop point. All that's there. But they don't actually have them in it. It's not until you get to the charging document that you start to get the text messages. I'm going to pull up a spreadsheet we've created that has these text messages side by side. And we're going to roll through them. I don't know if you can see these. I might have to make it larger, but we're going to roll through these. I might make them a little bigger, but hopefully you can see this. According to the charging document, on September 10th, the roommate receives a text message from Tyler Robinson that said, "Drop what you're doing, look under my keyboard." The roommate looks under the keyboard and found a note stated, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." Now, there's been a lot of news over the last couple of days, headlines saying, handwritten note found by Tyler Robinson confessing to the crime. I will suggest that is inaccurate. There is no handwritten note in existence. This is just a fact. There is no handwritten note in existence that has Tyler Robinson confessing to the crime. Instead, what we have is a photograph of an alleged handwritten note, an alleged photograph of an alleged handwritten note. We have not seen the photograph. We've not seen the photograph of the alleged handwritten note. But you might ask yourself at this point, well, where is the handwritten note? Well, allegedly, Lance Twiggs, the roommate, burned it. He burned the note, meaning with fire, set it on fire, burned it to ashes. Obviously, that's trying to hide the evidence that your roommate committed the highest profile political assassination in 62 years. But we're supposed to believe that before he did that, before he took the time to destroy evidence and to become an accomplice to this murder, he thought, I should get rid of the note, But actually, I should photograph it first. I should take a nice, clean, crisp photograph of the note before I burn the note. Well, if you burn the note, you can't test it for fingerprints. You can't test it for oils from the hand that would have DNA left in it. You can't test it for anything. You can't test the pressure of the pen to see if it's consistent with how Tyler Robinson held a pen. And there are experts that can do that. Can't do any of that. Instead, you're left with a photograph. Photograph doesn't have DNA. Photograph doesn't have pressure. That's weird to me. Now, just noticing that right off the bat. Noticing that right off the bat, that we have already destroyed evidence and under very suspicious circumstances. That is the first line that we covered in the charging document. Now, if we go to the search warrant, we see a reference to that. During Lance Twiggs' interview with investigators, he explained that he found a handwritten letter underneath the keyboard. The following is what Tyler Robinson wrote on the letter to Lance Twiggs based on a photograph found on Lance's phone. Again, he took a photograph of it and then burned it. Luna, of course, apparently called him Luna. That was his lady name. Luna, if you are reading this per my text, what a weird thing to say, then I am so sorry. I left this house this morning on a mission and set an auto text. We'll come back to that. I'm likely dead or facing a lengthy prison sentence. I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and I took it. I don't know if I will have succeeded, but I'd hoped to make it home to you. I wish we could have lived in a world where this did not feel necessary. I wish I could have stayed for you and lived our lives together. I lack the words to express how much I love you and how much you mean to me. Please try and find joy in this life. I love you always. Tyler. This is the first indication we have that there may have been a plan in place for Tyler not to survive this thing. In fact, if you read the entire charging document, we don't ever get that indication. But as we read the search warrant, we're going to get that indication a lot. We're going to get that indication a whole lot. And we're going to ask the question, why were we not told about this the first time? Why did the story seem to change? But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Now, back to the timeline. And notice we don't have timestamps on any of these. We've guessed on a few of them. We've guessed and we've reordered a few things that make sense to us. This is according to the charging document. I am still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I got to grab my rifle still. To be honest with you, I'd hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I'm sorry to involve you. Now, this is one text in the charging document. It's actually two texts in the search warrant, but it's all there. It's all there, but it's just broken up into two text messages. No indication why in the charging document they combined into one, but we're not going to get too hung up on that. You weren't the one who did it, right? And that's also in the search warrant. I'm sorry. That's also in the search warrant. I thought they caught the person. Also in the search warrant. Now, in the charging document, we get a little more going on here. They grabbed some old, crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I'd planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. Well, in the search warrant, we do have that first part. No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then they interrogated someone in similar clothing, and we actually also have this here, but again, it's two messages, not just one. Again, we don't know why they did that, but we're willing to do that. Now, we get into a series of texts here. These are new. So the search warrant came out just a few days ago, but it was written allegedly on 9/17. The charging document we've had for a long time, it was written allegedly on 9/16. Now we get to the search warrant, and poor Gary's having a bad night on this first one. Because the very first message that's new that we have that wasn't included before is 3 hours ago, there was an officer with a K9 walking nearby the area. I hope that pooch has a bad sniffer. Ladies and gentlemen, we made a big deal about Candace's reporting that there were K9s in the area. Huge deal. Because I don't believe a canine would miss a fired weapon. I don't think many people believe a canine would miss a fired weapon. This canine somehow did. It was walking nearby the area. Apparently had a bad sniffer. Well, that's really interesting. Really interesting. Now we get something very strange. So not only have we now confirmed, as we'd already reported, that there were bomb dogs and there were explosive ordnance dogs and there were whatever the dogs are. Daisy had put on Twitter a conversation with the Warrant police of what kind of dogs they had. And every dog was there. And here, Tyler says they had a pooch in the area and they hoped it had a bad sniffer. Somehow the pooch missed the gun. Weird. Now's where it gets a little weird. After we get the smackdown of Gary here on line 14, we get a second message on this same screen cap. I'm wishing I'd circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. Now we get a line in red that was not in the charging document. This is new information. Because it sounds like the police couldn't get in for a long while because of the traffic. Sounds like. In other words, I heard. Heard from whom? Had you guys heard this? I feel like I followed this case as closely as anybody in America. I don't recall hearing that the police couldn't get into the area for a long while because of the traffic. Do you? In fact, I heard the FBI was on the scene in 16 minutes. That's pretty fast. Who's he hearing that from? Who did he hear that from? Who told him that? I don't recall that being on the news. I mean, maybe. But it sounds like the police couldn't get in for a long time because of the traffic. Well, while the police aren't there, why didn't you get your gun? It's a long while. Why did you just grab it? There are no cops around. Why did you dump it? It's a weird statement. It's a very weird statement. Now we get some new messages that we don't have at all. We've not seen these at all. Actually, let me do this before I show you the new messages. You see how we have here C37 down here? It's because this message in D37, I'm wishing I'd circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. And then we have this red text that is new. If you slide down to C37, they have different text after this. Because they said, I'm wishing I'd circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. And that's in the charging document where they go on about how the old man and the gun, I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring my grandpa's rifle back. I don't even know if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. Worry about my prints if I had to leave it in the bush where I changed my outfits. Didn't have the ability or the time to bring it with. Might have to abandon it and hope they don't find the prints. How the blank will I explain losing it to my old man? None of that's in the search warrant. That was only in the charging document. And needless to say, they didn't provide us any pictures or timestamps. But I am curious why one document says one thing and the other document says another. There's a clear distinction. And one document was intended to be released to the public very soon, and it established credibility of the fact that this was his rifle and his grandfather's rifle and his prints would be all over it. The other, the search warrant, was never intended to be released to the public. It was only intended to be sent to Apple. And Apple would use that search warrant to produce documentation. So it's as if perhaps this information was included to sway public opinion. Then we go on. Needless to say, I'm going to be late coming home, my B. Does that sound like they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing? I'm going to be late, my B. I had planned to grab my rifle at my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. I'm going to be late coming home, my B. I'm going to be late, B. This almost sounds like two different people. It almost sounds like some of these might have been legitimate texts, and some of these might have been inserted either after the fact or without his knowledge into the conversation. Almost. You know how some biblical scholars will look at a book and say, if you read this in the original language, it looks like two different people wrote this section. They do this with Genesis 1, 2, and 3 a lot. That it looks like perhaps one style of writing in 1 and one style of writing in Genesis 2. The whole field of study on those 3 chapters, and whether or not there was more than one author. In other words, whether Moses just approved what someone else had written or whether maybe, who knows. But why would you change your style of writing from chapter to chapter? That doesn't make sense. But this is changing your style of writing. You just went from Robert Frost to Tupac Shakur. Like in moments. There's a road less traveled by, and it has made all the difference. All eyes on me. I mean, it's just two different people. No one shifts that way text to text. If you look at your text messages with people, they don't change like that. You don't go from Beethoven to California Love in 2 messages. Doesn't work that way. But we'll continue. Because the Fed sloppers are going to be like, oh yeah, people switch up all the time. I mean, constantly. You kidding me? You should see my text messages. Sometimes I'm poetic and deep and using proper punctuation and $7 words. And sometimes I'm saying, I'm going to be late, my B. You just never know what you're going to get with me. Minute to minute, you never know what you're going to get. Just stay safe, says Lance. I will, says Tyler. I'm more worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. He's far scarier than any Fed, NGL. Not going to lie for the non-teens. Guess I'm just sitting in my car watching reels for another hour, hoping this guy blanks off. That's Tyler. That's Tyler, the one who allegedly said, a bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there's a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. He's far scarier than any Fed, NGL. Just I'm going to be sitting in my car watching reels for another hour. If anything, Tyler needs to be evaluated for multiple personality disorder. There are 2 Tylers that we've evaluated so far. We have the Emily Dickinson disciple, and we have Mr. T. We have two Tylers. Mr. Tyler, Mr. T, I pity the fool who doesn't sit and watch reels. And then we have one that talks about squad cars and vehicles. Are you okay still? Yes, gonna check that spot again now. Checking spot again now, will. I mean, we're to believe the guy who said yes, checking spot again. I mean, he's dropping G's. He's dropping G's from verbs. Checking, yes, checking spot again now, comma, will. That is the same guy who wrote, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again soon. Hopefully they will have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. Hope this guy F's off. Checking spot again now, Will. I don't think I don't think I'm out of line to suggest two people wrote these. I don't think I'm out of line to suggest two people wrote these. And you'll notice Slang Tyler, G Tyler, Tupac disciple Tyler, the gangster, he is worried about his gun. He doesn't admit to any crimes. When you look at this as potentially two authors, Gangsta T Max or whatever his gang name is he goes by, he never says I killed anybody or how am I going to get it? I mean, that's not his thing. He's not talking about his prints on the rifle. If you look at it as two people, they're telling two different stories. One of them happens to be in the area and is tasked with retrieving a rifle that's his. And the other one is writing poetry, confessing to every aspect of it. Every single aspect of it. This is weird. This is weird. These are not the same people. You don't go from that talking to this talking text by text. You just don't. It's the highbrow prose. It's the guy who writes like Humphrey Bogart talks. That's the guy who confesses to everything. The guy who says NGL, who drops the G's, who doesn't use capitalization, who doesn't use periods. That guy never confessed anything. That guy just confessed to needing to retrieve a rifle and get home. And I don't know how I'm concluding anything other than that. And I don't know how anyone conclude anything other than that. And I think it's interesting that they chose to leave those text messages out of the document that they intended to release to the public. Because the document that was released to the public only had one character. It was the poet. It was the deep thinker. It was the guy who wrote in complete sentences and used big words. The guy who wrote in slang and all lowercase and didn't use periods. The guy who didn't put the G's on his verbs. The guy who used NGL and spoke improper English. That guy didn't confess to anything. And those texts never made it into the charging document. And remember, for some reason, that charging document was released to the public to set the public narrative that this guy did it and that he had confessed to almost every aspect of it. So let me go back to the document, because believe it or not, there's more of this nonsense. Now we get back to a part where there's both of them talking. Why? Why did I do it? Yeah. I had enough of his hatred. This is from the charging document. I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they will have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. Notice he doesn't drop the G's in this one. Finding. He doesn't say finding. He's dropping the G's when he's Gangster Tyler. But when he's poetic English major Tyler, he doesn't drop the G's, but he conveniently confesses to everything. And he gives motive. Some hate can't be negotiated out. He's far scared than he fed, not gonna lie. Guess I'm just gonna sit in my car. I'm sitting in my car watching reels for another hour, hoping this guy blanks off. I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. Notice if I am. Up here it's I'm. Not even with an apostrophe. Not, it's not a formal contraction. It's just lowercase I am. And here's the thing, too. I want to point this out. This is something that drives me crazy about my kids. When you have an iPhone, you have to intentionally make it so that your first word's not capitalized. In other words, I call it the retard button. You have to go in and push a button that says, do not capitalize the beginning of my text. And my kids do it. It drives me crazy because I read it and I'm like, this is the written word. This is English. This is how you convey yourself to the world. And they talk to their employers on text message. They talk to teachers on text message. You'll notice Gangster Tyler, Mr. T, Grandmaster T. You'll notice that Tyler, the one who didn't confess to anything, his texts aren't capitalized. But all the ones that confess, oh, they're capitalized, all right. Oh, they're capitalized. Every one of them. And it's uncanny. It's uncanny, the distinction. And it's critical to me. Again, the one that was released for public consumption, the charging document, the one that was released nearly immediately, that they've been running around telling us is mountains of evidence, every text message is capitalized. The button that you can go, the retard button, you go in to click a button on Apple to make yourself look retarded, that you don't capitalize the beginning of a sentence, that's not checked on those. But if you go back to the ones that don't confess anything, that actually sound like a 22-year-old texting, look at this. These aren't capitalized. I'm, he's, guess, yes, needless. These aren't capitalized. I'm wishing I'd circled back and got it 3 hours ago. No, look, no, there's no confession here. There's no confession here. But when he starts confessing right here, why did I do it? Why did I do it? Here, are you ready to hear my confession? Notice the why is capitalized. Now, maybe just in the charging document, they capitalized it because over here it says, why did I do it? There's no capital. So maybe that's it. Maybe they just lied in the charging document. But it's uncanny to me that even without the capitalization, it looks like two different people talking. Now, I want to go to this right here because for some reason in the charging document, they dropped the "will update you by midnight." That got dropped. The rest of this text message is all here. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. "Will update you by midnight." And the only reason I can think is that they were trying to protect Lance. They wanted to make it look like Lance was not an accomplice or was not directing it. I mean, who do you update, right? You update your wife. You update your boss. "We'll update you by midnight." And then he says, all right, stay safe. How long have you been planning this? A bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there's a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot. I don't want to chance it. We had all of that before. Now, here's where we have some new stuff here. And we have to drop down and see how they changed this text below. I'm wishing I'd circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. And then we've read this. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. IDEK, if it even had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints. This is where you go up to this D19 and you see, oh, we've already covered that. Yeah. Where they added all this additional stuff. Like in the search warrant, they didn't put any of this in here. They just said, I'm more worried about what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. But if we go down to this, we get all this additional detail that was designed to be released to the public. Because the public has to know that he has additional detail, that he changed outfits, that he didn't have the time, that there's a reason he abandoned the rifle. Now, this is stuff that's in the charging document that's not in the search warrant. The only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? The blanking messages are mostly a big meme. And then the judging, and then of course right here, it's almost like someone realized that he had not yet confessed to the crime. You see this message right here? Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. IDK. I think that was a $2,000 scope with a kind of a winky face. See that? It's almost like someone's looking over the shoulder and being like, you idiot. You never made Tyler confess. Like, you have to put a text message in there where he confesses to the crime. He has to, well, I can't just say, yeah, I capped him. Well, I mean, you can. He is gangster Tyler sometimes, but just put in there that the grandpa's rifle does fine, judging by today. Give enough that the jury would believe he said it. I mean, he's already basically, the guy said, why did you do it? Well, I did it because I've had enough of his hatred. No, but that doesn't say he pulled the trigger. It's almost like you look over and you see the guy who's faking the messages and you're like, dude, you have to say he killed him. You can't be that vague. You can't just talk about he's a hateful guy, Charlie Kirk. The guy with like half his staff is gay is supposedly killed by a gay person because of hate. I mean, everyone who works at TPUSA is gay. In my opinion. Calm down, TPUSA employees. Calm down. Not my fault Grindr crashes whenever you guys get together. Now, we go to the next day. And I think we can confidently say it's the next day. And here's where the timeline gets really interesting to me. Because we know at 7:15 a.m. he is on video getting gas in Cedar City. I could play that, but we're running way behind and I got a lot still to cover. So we know at 7:15 a.m. Tyler's getting gas in Cedar City. And we know at 9:21 a.m. is the time when the first pic of the gun was released by the New York Post. And so we know this text exchange has to come after that moment. But what else do we know? Cedar City's only 45 minutes away from St. George. So if he's gassing up in Cedar City, he's probably home by 8 a.m., right? You guys, are you following me? If you look at a map and you get on Google Maps and you say, how long does it take to get from Cedar City to their home address? And I'm not going to put their home address online because YouTube freaks out about that. But if you punch in the gas station where he was and their home address, it's like 44 minutes, 46 minutes maybe, something like that, depending on what time of day you punch it in. So it's not a long drive. If he's gassing up at 7:15, let's give him 10 minutes to gas up. Maybe he has to take a leak. Maybe he wants to go in and buy a cowtail and a body armor. I don't know. You know what a cowtail is, right? Those gross looking, they're like a soft, chewy candy, and they're like a foot long, and they're real thin, and they got like a creamy, gross candy middle. Maybe he's into that. I don't know. Maybe that's his thing. To quote Kobe Bryant, that's my thing. But 7:15 a.m. he's gassing up. So let's just say 10 minutes later he leaves. 7:25. He's home right after 8 o'clock. And the first picture of the New York Post release is at 9:21. That's where the rifle is. And so everything else that happens in this exchange, we have to assume he's sitting at home in St. George, on his couch, in his room. Who should be there? Who are we told he was supposedly living with? This is not a hidden question. This is not a trick question. The answer's Lance. Cowtails are not delicious. Whoever just said that, you're wrong. You are out of your mind. You're not a good judge of taste. All right. So we know he's probably sitting at home by 8:30 at the latest, right? But for some reason, Lance isn't there. They live together, supposedly. But Lance isn't there. Because he says, if I go back to the document, which I would never read from without showing you because I'm not that kind of a podcast host. You go back to the charging document, he says, delete this exchange. My dad wants photos of the rifle. He says, Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle. It's very unique. He's calling me right now, not answering. I believe this text took place while Tyler was at home in St. George. And for some reason, he's texting Lance, meaning Lance isn't there. Where the hell is Lance? I thought they lived together. Since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. I'm sure your live-in boyfriend has no idea your dad's political position. Your politics led you to commit the highest profile political assassination in 62 years. But somehow you never mentioned to your live-in that you did this for, right? I did this for you, my love. You never once mentioned your dad being diehard MAGA? That's weird. Now we get into a series of messages that we received for the first time on the search warrant, and this is probably to me the most important part of this. Because the first message, I'm sorry, but I think this might be it. If the way is clear, I can try to come your way to say goodbye. After that, I have a spot in mind. I'll call the police too. Okay. First, where is Lance's way? We'll find out in a minute where Lance is. But as I'm reading this, I'm like, where's Lance? Why isn't Lance home? Tyler's home. He's obviously close to Lance. I'm going to come your way and say goodbye. There, sounds like they're maybe a few blocks away, maybe a couple miles at most. Where is Lance? I have a spot in mind I'll call police to. To do what? You'll call the police to do what? I mean, if you're going to turn yourself in, just roll into the police station. Why would you have are you going to Dairy Queen again to get another blizzard? You just had one 12 hours ago. Well, where are you going? And then Lance asks a weird question. Are there cops outside? That's a weird question to me. And why are you calling the police anywhere? Also a weird question. If there's a line of thinking out there that Lance may have been involved in setting up Tyler. Are there cops outside means it's over. Whoever's supposed to, let's just assume someone's going to take out Tyler and make it look like a suicide. If the cops are outside, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And why are you calling the police anywhere? In other words, keep the police away from you, you dummy. Even though your grandpa thinks it's you, he certainly thinks it's his rifle, according to this story. Why are you calling the police anywhere? Now, this is where it gets... I just have a hard time believing this is real. Not yet, but I have doubts. I have no doubts they will be on me within the hour. And I will be giving my location up and going out on my own terms. I have no intention of being drugged through the courts in front of the country. Well, what's he doing right now? He's being drugged through the courts in front of the country. I'm going out on my own terms. There's no way I think any rational thinking person is going to come to any conclusion of what that means other than I'm going to end it. I'm going to remove myself from this earth. Can I come see you? After that, I call my dad and see if he's willing to help me or not. And then Lance finally gives away where he is. I'm just at my parents' right now. Maybe I could make an excuse to head home for a little bit. You live alone. Why do you need an excuse to go home? How about I'm going home? Like if I'm at my mom's house, my mom lives close, but I don't live with her. If I'm at her house, I don't have to make an excuse to leave. I just say, all right, I'm heading home. And I jump in my car and I drive home. And like 9 minutes later, I'm home. I don't have to make an excuse to go home. Most people who live alone don't have to make an excuse to go home. They just go home. It raises the question, did Lance really live there? Was that really his house? They made a big deal about the fact that Lance lived there. But if he lived there, why isn't he there in the morning when Tyler gets there? It's like 9 a.m. He might still be asleep. Did you spend the night at your parents' house? What's going on here? Because we're going to drill down on the Twiggs in due time. And we're gonna look at some weird stuff with the Twiggs. I don't know if you know our frequent commenter, Dom. I don't give a Dom. She has a podcast she started. She's like 10 or 11 episodes in. They're pretty good. I watched one the other night all the way through. She had no idea we were watching live. And I commented at the end. She's like, is anyone still here? And I'm like, I'm still here. And, but the Twiggs are an interesting couple. Tyler Twiggs and Amy Twiggs. They're an interesting couple. We sort of started the look at Amy Twiggs the other day. We haven't really looked at Tyler. We haven't looked at their businesses. We haven't looked at their mortgage situation. We will. Because as I'm looking at this right now, why is Lance not at his own home? He supposedly lives there with Tyler. Tyler's there without him. That's weird. And he's having to come up with an excuse to go home from his parents' house at 9 a.m. Not like you're leaving at 2 in the morning and they'll think it's weird. 9 a.m. And Tyler says, Lance says, I'm at my parents right now. Maybe I could make an excuse to head home for a bit. You would need to do that right now. Any ideas for an excuse? I don't know. For getting out of this, none short of my family willing to be covered for me, or I am blanked. I'm not going to be able to leave. What's something urgent I would need to leave for? What is going on? Why is an independent adult who lives on his own unable to leave his own parents' house at 9 a.m. on a Thursday morning? Why? That is the weirdest development I've seen in this entire thing. There are a lot of weird things about this case. The fact that Lance can't leave is weird. The fact that Lance can't leave his parents' house is very, very strange to me. Now, maybe I have a different relationship with my parents, and if I go to their house, like I'm bound to not, I don't know. Are you like chained against the wall? Why can't you leave? What's something urgent I would need to leave for? Just tell them you're running to get a snow cone. Like, just leave the house. You have a car? You have a house? You have a job? Just leave. Just leave. But I don't want to get too bogged down on it. All right. You could say, I told you there's an emergency at home that I need you for with few details. I said I'm swapping laundry, heading home now. Nice. I'll see you soon. So, in theory, sometime shortly after 9 o'clock, maybe 10 o'clock by this time, Lance is at home finally with Tyler. I was not told that. This is a new development to me. And it's also a new development that Lance had to go there against his parents' wishes. Now we get at 9:58 a.m., we get the first pic released of the suspect. But Lance still isn't there yet. My coworker just sent me the still of the campus. What's your ETA? Like 3 minutes. So that had to take place after 9:58. So this is maybe a few minutes after 10:30 maybe at the latest, by the time a coworker gets it. Like 3 minutes. So Lance is apparently on his way and very close. And then we get this extra stuff here. This is extra. These aren't texts, but this is extra context that we need here. From the charging document, Robinson's father contacted his son and asked him to send a photo of the rifle. Robinson did not respond. However, Robinson's father spoke on the phone with Robinson. Robinson implied he planned to take his own life. Robinson's parents were able to convince him to meet at their home. As they discussed the situation, Robinson implied he was the shooter. Now, we've been told he confessed to his parents. Oh, he confessed to his parents. His parents are on the prosecution. I mean, the prosecution can call his parents. What are you going to say, Baron? What are you going to say when the Robinsons testify? And he implied he was the shooter. And this is the interpretation of an officer who had talked to the parents. So maybe the parents said, well, he did imply he was involved. I have no idea what they said because they didn't quote him. They implied that he was the shooter and stated he couldn't go to jail and just wanted to end it. When asked why he did it, Robinson explained there's too much evil and the guy spreads too much hate. They talked about Robinson turning himself in and convinced Robinson to speak with a family friend who's a retired deputy sheriff. We knew all this. This has been known for months. At Robinson's father's request, the family friend met with Robinson and his parents and convinced Robinson to turn himself in. And now we get these texts out of the charging document. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. You're all I worry about, love. I'm much more worried about you, says Lance. Don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If the police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. That's what they hit him with the witness tampering. Because he said, don't talk to the police. That's the witness tampering charge. That's just stacking charges now. Now, here's some additional context. This is not a text message, but this is additional context. And this is what we learned in the search warrant. Lance showed FBI Special Agent Lang additional messages on his cell phone from a social media app called Discord. And one of the messages that Lance showed to investigator, the user Tyler IKUM. I'm not going to say it out loud because I know he's trying to be funny. Posted the following message in a group chat. And then we have this. Hey, guys, I have bad news for y'all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all this. I'm surrendering through a sheriff in a few moments. Thanks for all the good times and laughs. You've all been so amazing. Thank you for everything. Okay. Here's the problem with this. You see this username, Tyler IKUM? That username is different from the one I showed you the other day when Ken Klippenstein from the AP got a hold of a Discord that said the exact same thing, but it was sent from a guy named Zealous Monkey, 55096 or something. Zealous Monkey and Tyler IKUM are not the same username. So why the difference? Did he post in two different user groups under two different accounts the exact same message? I suppose. I want to, well, let me finish this real quick. Because now we get to Brooksby's timeline. We played this the other night. Brooksby's phone call, retired deputy, 8:02 p.m. At 8:04, he has a phone call with Mike Smith, the sheriff. It takes him 40 seconds to finally get out that he's the one who did it, and he's got him in custody, or he's on the way. And then it says, on the evening of September 11, as law enforcement continued their investigation, Tyler James Robinson went to Washington County office with his parents and a family friend to turn himself in. I want to play you the clip of his statement on this, because this gets back to, was Tyler Robinson supposed to survive? Let me play this real quickly and let you guys tell me if you hear what I hear. Let me turn the closed caption on for those of you who can't hear YouTube very well.
Fathom what actually came out of his mouth. So he said, "Hey, I know who Charlie Kirk shooter is. I know the family through religious association, and he's in Washington County now, and we're working on trying to get him to come in voluntarily." During that phone call, some information was provided about Tyler potentially having some suicidal ideations, was en route to a remote area of Washington County.
En route to a remote area of Washington County with suicidal ideations. That wasn't texted to Lance. So we don't have any text proof of that. We just have sheriff retired for harassment's view of that. That's the only view we have of that. But I want to put this into what might happen to a patsy sometimes. Sometimes patsies die. Often they do. A dead patsy can't turn. He doesn't get acquitted. The case doesn't stay open. You don't have podcasters looking over the case for months at a time, years at a time. A dead patsy's a very convenient patsy. If Tyler Robinson was in some sort of conspiracy, and if the idea was, we do not need this patsy to remain alive, you might call him out to a remote area of Washington County, take him out, and make it look like a suicide. Right? I mean, now granted, this is the guy who was getting a blizzard and just cooling out by the thing. I don't know, waiting on an order of chicken tendies. I don't know what he was doing. They were just standing there eating a blizzard. This is the guy who posted up at a steakhouse in Panguitch, rural Utah, eating a ribeye, a couple of sweet potatoes maybe. I don't know what he has. Maybe he's carb loading after the big jump. I don't know. But it seems to me, when you put it all together, all of this stuff, and you read it all together, it seems to me that the story changed. So there's a version 1 and a version 2. Version 1 is Tyler Robinson is so distressed by this. He can't get the gun. He knows he's been, his dad had noted who he was, and grandpa recognized the rifle. And so he just needs to turn himself in, right? I'm caught, hands up, don't shoot. Just need to turn myself in. That's version 1. That's what we've been told this whole time. That's what was in the charging document. Nice, quick, easy, clean. But when this subpoena came out, I don't know if it leaked. I don't know how we ended up with this. But when this subpoena came out, a totally different story emerged. All of a sudden, it looked like Tyler may have had a plan to remove himself. And I don't know why that wouldn't have gone into the charging document. I mean, that to me goes towards guilt. Like the charging document exists to convince the judge to hold him against his will, to incarcerate him pending trial, to deny bail. That's why the charging document exists. Why would you not, if those texts existed at the time, why wouldn't you put them in there? That's good stuff. That's really good stuff. He's so guilty, he's going to kill himself over it. Like that's not like I'm going to go assert my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent and have a trial and see what happens. That's like, I'm going to be the judge, jury, and executioner here. I did it, and I need to remove myself. I don't want to get dragged through the courts. Why didn't they tell us all this? Here's my suspicion. I believe the story changed. I believe the story changed when he lived. And I believe he lived because he outsmarted this plan to take him out. He wasn't supposed to make it to the sheriff's office. He wasn't supposed to turn himself in. He wasn't supposed to be arrested by Brian Davis of the Utah State Bureau of Investigation at 10 o'clock. He wasn't supposed to be transferred to Utah County. He wasn't supposed to be booked. He wasn't supposed to be investigated. They weren't supposed to be looking at all these phones. They weren't supposed to be pulling forensic evidence off these phones. He was supposed to confess that is his gun and then go kill himself. Quick and easy. There was supposed to be no 7-month and 2-day Candace Owens investigation. There was supposed to be no decentralized investigation. There'd still be a podcaster in Middle Tennessee named Baron Coleman that does a Sunday night show for 50 people that no one's ever heard of. We wouldn't be looking at subpoenas. We wouldn't be looking at shadows on camera footage. We wouldn't be looking at the grainy video of a guy running off a roof and jumping down like Spider-Man and trying to zoom in real close and say, could that be a gun? What is that? We wouldn't be looking at a guy walking up the stairs saying, where's the gun? Where's the gun? There's the gun's in his skinny jeans? You're telling me he disassembled the gun? Stuffed it in various places in his body in little pieces? Walked up the stairs? For some reason paused for 7 to 8 minutes? Immediately laid in a prone position and took the shot of his life, and hit it on the first go. We wouldn't be looking at bullet fragments. They would have just told us they recovered a bullet fragment from his neck. We'd all go, We wouldn't have been closely examining the necklace to see, why is it whipping like that? That's weird. Why does the necklace do that? And what's up with the charm coming up into his neck? And his Rode microphone, why does it zoom across his shirt to the middle of his chest for some reason? What is going on with that? We wouldn't be looking at the photos going, do his hands look burned? We wouldn't be examining photos of the SUV saying, what is all that plastic stuff on the ground? Why is there blood in both those seats when his neck was over there? Why is there blood over here? And who was wiping their hand in the back seat with blood? Why are there hand wipes back there? That's weird. We wouldn't be looking closely at the pictures of the SUV and saying, where's all this gauze that Brian Harpole said they used? He probably wouldn't have been on the Sean Ryan podcast to tell us that he used a bunch of gauze that we have no evidence he used. We wouldn't be asking where the shirt is and whether there's a little hole in the shirt on the side where the necklace went up. We wouldn't be asking any of these questions. It'd have been quick. It'd have been easy. And if there was a conspiracy to remove Charlie Kirk, what's one more guy? These are obviously stone cold killers. Well, who cares about that guy? 22-year-old guy who lives with a furry. Why are we worried about taking him out? We wouldn't be trying to retrace his steps and see, does that timing make sense? We wouldn't be looking at all the outfit changes and saying, why is he coming on campus in this? And he goes back in that. And he changes into this. And he goes back in that. None of this would matter. None of this would matter. It would have been like the Thomas Matthew Crooks things. Hey, he's dead on the roof. It's over. It'd have been like Lee Harvey Oswald. Hey, he's dead in the Dallas Police Department. It's over. It'd have been like Stephen Paddock at Vegas. Hey, he's dead in his hotel room. It's over. There's no trial. There's no extended investigation. You might get Ian Carroll on Tucker's podcast 8.5 years later, but doesn't change anything. So I think that was plan A. Take him out. Remove him. I haven't even mentioned the timeline of the plane coming in just at this time, of the spy plane that circled randomly over St. George and flew to El Paso, flew way out of its way from Ontario, California, just El Paso. We wouldn't be looking at the time the transponders came on and off, and we probably need to take another look at that. A guy on Twitter named Truth Evades. He used to be a commenter here. TROOF EVADES. He had a really nice summary of the N2100L spy plane that flew over St. George while Tyler was either in custody or turning himself in, one or the other. We wouldn't be looking at any of this. It'd have been quick, easy, and over. And I think that was the plan. But Tyler disrupted that plan by living. He disrupted that plan by not going to the wilderness or wherever he was supposed to go, the rural location. And instead, he turned himself in. He turned himself into a sheriff who was trusted by the local community and kept him alive. We'll go back to the timeline for just a moment, because here is the part the Fed sloppers are focusing on versus the reality. On the evening of September 11th, as law enforcement continued their investigation of Tyler James Robinson, went to the Washington County Sheriff's Office with his parents, family, friend, to turn himself in. You guys remember, we have the timestamp here. See if I can make this big enough for you to see it. We have the timestamp of Tyler Robinson being arrested at 10 p.m. See that right there? Tyler James Robinson, Washington, Utah, 510, Hazel Eyes, male, arrest date 9/11, Thursday, 10 p.m. Arresting officer Brian Davis. That is Brian Davis of the State Bureau of Investigation. That is when he was arrested by that guy. And look how specific they are. The date the time he got to Utah County was 1:58 a.m. So he's arrested at 10 p.m. and it took them 4 hours to transport him to Utah County, which means it would take probably about that long to drive from Utah County to Washington County. They don't have a time machine. Doc Brown is not involved. Marty McFly is nowhere to be found. No one has a DeLorean in Washington County. 10 p.m. is 10 p.m. And in order for him to get there at 10 p.m., he had to leave Utah County or Salt Lake City or wherever he was coming from. He had to leave there well in advance of 10 p.m., which means he had to know Tyler Robinson would be there, probably by 6 or 6:30. And the answer is not to ignore that and act like that doesn't exist, because that's what the Fed sloppers are doing. They're ignoring that line item. They're ignoring that entry into the record. They're ignoring the fact that he was arrested at 10 p.m. by Brian Davis, and Brian Davis had to get there. Instead, they want to focus on the search warrant time. And the search warrant time says he arrived at the Washington County Sheriff's Office accompanied by his parents at approximately 22:26. That's 10:26 p.m. That's 26 minutes after he was arrested. He was arriving then. But I would suggest this is not accurate, and that the 10 p.m. time is accurate. But even if that time is accurate, the 22:26, now you have to leave. If that's when he arrives, or what, 8 o'clock is when they said that he called, and 8:04 he called the Utah County Sheriff and said that he was. So the Utah County Sheriff then has to call the State Bureau of Investigation. They have to drive to St. George. Even then, they don't arrive till well after 11, maybe 12 o'clock, 11:30 or 12 o'clock. Then they have to drive back to Utah County. Well, they can't get there until from 12 o'clock to 3:30, 4 in the morning. They said he was in at 1:58. So that time doesn't work. So I don't think that 22:26 is accurate. But here's the difference. I'm willing to be wrong. Like, if you can make it make logical sense, I'm willing to be wrong. Find me a plane where he can get there faster. I've looked for it. I've tried to be wrong. Find me a plane. Find me a helicopter. Find me some method of transportation from Orem, Provo, Salt Lake City to St. George that gets him there where he can arrest him or pick him up and get back to Utah County by 2 a.m. Find me that, and I will reevaluate whether I'm right. But the timing doesn't work if he doesn't show up until 22-26. Timing doesn't work. We had evidence of when he showed up. It was the video of when he showed up, and they lost it. They deleted it. Kind of like NASA deleted the moon landing telemetry and all the original footage. Remember that? They deleted it. But trust me, bro. Trust me. It existed. Totally 100% existed. Absolutely 100% existed. So here's the story we're left with. You ready for this? Here's the story we're left with. Tyler Robinson is going to commit the crime of the century, the highest profile political assassination since JFK in 62 years. But before he does it, and he intends to take it to his grave. We saw that in the text message. I wanted to take the secret to my grave. But the secret he wants to take to his grave, before he leaves the house, he writes a full confession in his own handwriting. And he puts it under the keyboard. On the off chance Lance doesn't find it, he texts Lance to say, hey, look under the keyboard. On the off chance he's unable to make the text, he sets up an auto text to tell Lance to check under the keyboard. So he confesses 3 times to Lance about the stupid shooting he wanted to take to his grave. He writes a full confession before he even leaves the house, puts it under the keyboard. He texts him to tell him, I did it, look under the keyboard. Then he sets up, before he leaves the house, an auto text on the off chance he forgets to text him or is unable to text him, to tell him to look under the keyboard. This is the secret he wanted to take to his grave. Then, while he's on the scene, no fewer than 20 or 30 text messages to Lance confessing to every single detail of the crime. How long he planned it, where he put the gun, what outfits he wore, where he put the outfits, why he did it, motive. Every aspect, that his fingerprints were all over the gun, that the gun had good aim, despite being an older gun. Then, if that's not enough, you might say, well, but maybe he trusts his roommate, Lance, right? He trusts the guy, right? He's furry, after all. Trustworthy guy, like a teddy bear. Okay, maybe I'll give you that. This is the crime of the century that he wants to take to his grave. He then sends a full confession to his Discord friends on the Discord server, making sure there's a full electronic copy available for lots of different people to see. Basically, anybody who logs into the server will have access to look at it. Then he goes home, and he makes sure he tells both of his parents, or at least implies to them, and a retired cop. This is the crime of the century he intended to take to his grave. Then he turns himself in. And only then, only when he turns himself in, does he decide, you know what? I should exercise my right to silence. I should exercise my right to silence. Yes. I know I wrote a full handwritten letter and left it under the keyboard. Yes, I know I texted my boyfriend and told him to look under the keyboard. Yes, I know I even sent him an auto text telling him to look under the keyboard. Yes, I know that I then sent 20 or more, maybe 30 texts confessing to every intimate detail that only the killer would know. And yes, I know I sent a full confession to all these weirdos on Discord. And yes, I know I told both my parents, but they're my parents, right? Oh, and I told a cop, a retired cop. I also told a cop. But I'd like to talk to a lawyer before I talk to you. No. not how it works. That's not what happens. That's not how it works. That's not at all what happens. That's not how humanity works. You don't tell someone you intend to take a secret to the grave and then tell absolutely everyone you know, including retired cops. And then show up to the sheriff and be like, no, sir, I don't want to talk to you. I'd like to speak with a lawyer. Fake and gay. Fake and gay. Both fake, and in this case, gay. Like really gay. Really gay. Fed slop. It's Alpo, guys. It tastes like Alpo. It's Fed slop. Those Fed sloppers think it tastes like Turkish delight. They can't get enough of it. It's like Hershey's chocolate to them. No, it's Fed slop. Tastes like Alpo. No one can believe this story because they were making it up on the fly. That's my opinion. He wasn't supposed to live. He wasn't supposed to live. Don't forget to like the video. Click like right now. Boom, boom. There's 23,243 of you. Boom. I want 23,243 likes. Click the like button. Boom. While you're there, click the subscribe button. We're doing well on subscriptions lately. We've had good numbers on subscriptions. That helps push the show to the front of the algorithm. So make sure you're subscribed. I don't remember what the exact number was in the last show, but it was under 30%. So a lot of you are subscribers, but this is still, like I said, a show that habitually, routinely, almost every show gets more viewers than subscribers. Unacceptable. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. While you're there, click notifications. You'll be alerted when we go live. And share with your friends, most importantly. Share with your friends. I'll throw the banner up if you want to buy some merch. There's a merch store down there, realbaronpodcast.com. We'll roll out some new stuff in the next week or two. But the stuff we have now has been doing really well. The mugs, by far and away the best seller. The mugs are great. Excellent mugs. And there's a link to the Discord chat there if you want to potentially get, hold on. If you want to get a notice if one of your friends commits a high-profile assassination. I'm kidding. We don't do that on that Discord. I have nothing to do with it, by the way. Nothing to do with it. But that there, should you want to peep around. All right, here we go. From you guys. Actually, let me make this a little larger so I can actually read what you guys are saying. There we go. But Baron, my friend Star, and I love your shows and never miss an episode. We lost contact with each other. Please let her know I'm back on Getter. She was there for me when my dad passed away. I pray she's okay. Keep up the great work. Crisis King indeed. Paul Gomez, Star, is back on Getter. Back on Getter. Thank you for that very generous contribution. Ever since you mentioned Driving and Crying, I've had Straight to Hell stuck in my head. I've thought about that song in 30 years. Hey, Driving and Crying was great. I wish I could play bumper music on YouTube. They do not permit it. I had what was the Driving and Crying song I always played as bumper music? Oh, please. Let me pull up my list of bumpers and I'll tell you. I've got it saved as a Spotify list. Oh, by the way, Spotify has been a great partner to this program. If you are not subscribed on Spotify, feel free to jump over there. If you ever miss one, you can check it out on the replay. Where is my bumper music playlist? I got too many playlists on here. There we go. Baron Coleman bumpers. It's 268 of them. I'll never find it. I used to play Fly Me Courageous was the song I used to play all the time as bumper music. Great song, by the way. Great song. So fly me. Courageous. Yeah. See, I can still get down. I'm 46, but I can still boogie. Baron, you mentioned that the defense isn't able to challenge the Miranda time frame themselves and likely the added the time for us to see. Why can't they? I mean, they can, but they can't. They have decided they're not going to challenge this in the press. That's a decision some defenses make. And so they're not going to do that. The prosecution has chosen to try this in the press. They keep releasing documents every time their Fed slop starts to fail. But they're not, but the defense is not. But I would say it would be unbecoming of a defense lawyer to come out before even the preliminary hearing and start talking about evidence. I think that would be unusual. But we'll see. Bubba Baron, gracias to my internet family. Your prayers meant a lot. No kids, but 2 dogs, 3 horses. Christ is king, and his blessings are wonderful. I am never alone. Praise the Lord. You are never alone. You have a fantastic community here, Dara. I hope you are. Hope you're feeling better and beginning the frankly long grieving recovery process. But thanks for checking in with us. Hey, Baron, it's me. That's Baron's battle bun. Oh, I see I've been activated. They're hearing the echoes of our battle bun cries, in which we all have power inside of us, hair or not. Together we cannot be defeated. Stay activated, bun power. I had no idea my battle bun had a YouTube account. Sundays are my favorite shows. I was outside doing yard work in this beautiful day in, I don't know where Nipa is, Northeast Pennsylvania maybe, and rushed to get inside and shower before you began. Shh, you're now my number one. Shh. Go Max. Christ is king. Battle bun activated. Yes, we have to activate the battle buns tonight. Mr. Baron Coleman, you sweet soul. Any chance you would consider a live podcast when you come to UVU? Members only as your live audience? I've thought about that. I don't know. I have to think about that. I thought about like a live walk and talk, like just walking around the campus, but I don't know how UVU would like that. And I don't want you guys seeing me get arrested. That'd be embarrassing. Tucker selling low IQ hats. I just checked. Yeah, I saw that. I want to buy one. Those are dope. I wish I'd have thought of that. Ron, I'm so happy to catch this members live. This is not a members live. This is a regular show. I get to watch you while I cook dinner. Green chili enchiladas. Love you. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. Green chili enchiladas sound amazing. No, this is not a member show. This is for everyone. From the members live. Bummed to hear you don't like the name Edge. Oh, yeah, the YouTube discussion. If you missed that, we had a whole discussion on YouTube. Well, good sir, my name, my choice. So there. I like it for YouTube commenters. I don't like it for guitarists of rock bands. How about that? Is that fair? Is that a fair compromise? Because Edge, I love your name. I always say Edge when you check in. Hey, man. Everyone seems to have a problem with a picture of the kids with Erica's finger over it. And all I keep thinking is, why would she have a picture from 9/9/25 like she knew she would need an alibi? Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. Here's the thing about YouTube timestamps. You can change them. Don't believe me? Go in and change yours. You can go and you can pull up any picture. I could take a picture of myself right now, podcasting with you, the great audience. And I could go change the timestamp and make it say anything I wanted. I can adjust date and time. I can adjust location. So instead of it being April 12th, I can make it April 1st, April Fool's Day. And so there it is. And you see your humble host. See here. Well, I don't know if you can see it, but trust me, it says April 1st. So if you click the little 3 dots on an iPhone, you can change it. There's nothing to it. Now I'm going to wonder why I took that photo on April 1st. But that's why. I mean, that picture could have been taken in 2015 for all we know. Shabbat Shalom, Baron's on. Oh, that was yesterday. Oh my gosh, I got to tell you what happened. So I feel bad. So we went out to dinner last night with a friend, a good friend. And we go out to eat. And one of our favorite bands is playing in town. And I was tired. But we'd talked about maybe going to see the show after dinner. But it'd gotten kind of late and our friend was with us. And it was like 8:15 and the show started at 8:30. But they had an opening act. So they probably wouldn't come on until 9:30. And so we were like, well, should we go? And my friend is in the car and I can just sense that he's like, please don't take me to a concert right now. Like, I agreed to go to dinner. I did not agree to be held hostage till 1 a.m. at a concert. Please don't do this. And we ended up not going. And I'm so exhausted today anyway because we ended up staying up late. But I didn't stay up as late as I would have had I gone to a concert. Would it have been fun? Amazing. We've seen them live many times. It's called the band called the Avett Brothers. They're great. But we've seen them live several times. And we saw them live back in the prime 10, 15 years ago. But I have no idea what they'd be like today live. But man, my wife really wanted to go, and I really felt bad being like, "Can I please go home and go to bed? Like, I'm tired. We didn't sleep much last night. I got a show tomorrow night." So this show would have been a disaster if I'd have gone to that. But yes. Baron, I'm a huge fan of your show, whereas my husband eats the fed slop. Tastes like Alpo. We often get into arguments about the CK case. That has strained our marriage, and I don't know what to do. Thank you for all you do. Here's the thing. Miss Color Guard, if that is your real name. don't fight with your husband about Charlie Kirk. There's nothing worth, in my mind, destroying friendships, certainly family relationships over. Just say, hey, you know what? We just won't talk about it. We just won't talk about it. And we'll just see what the trial shows. Who cares? I mean, don't get into arguments with your marriage is hard enough. Marriage is so hard. You're gonna add insult to injury. No, don't do that. Now, if it turns out you're right, you can peacock around the house. You can do that. And you go, what? Who won? Who won? Now, you can do that. But don't fight now. Edge. See, I like it. Comedian Fakite gave you a great shout out. Check her when life allows. She's fun and outspoken on our team. She's on my list of people to check out. I just get so busy. But someone on the other live stream mentioned that. Let me make sure I'm pretty sure she is. Let's see here. Yeah, she's on there. Actually, I got it spelled differently though. Did you spell it differently or did they spell it? I'd spell it both ways. Okay. Yeah, she's on my notes to check out. Thoughts on people like Megyn Kelly saying she's 100% convinced TR ended CK, aside from obvious issues, making claims without all evidence seems bad faith and immoral, especially given potential death penalty. Yeah, I don't love I know it happens all the time, but I don't love when people say they're 100% sure about anything crime related, because you just don't know. I mean, how many times have we gone into a trial convinced someone did it and then the evidence comes out, you're like, ooh, maybe not. So, we'll see. Any day Tucker, low IQ hat with my Baron high IQ hoodie. Gonna be out here a walking contradiction. Well, yeah. You would look weird. I'll admit that. Need 4,000 high IQ folks to hit like. Yes. Where are we on the likes? I didn't even check before I tried to shame you guys. Or medium likes. We could do better. Don't let me down. Oh, I don't give a damn. I was just talking about you. Low IQ. Thank you. High IQ. You know what you get when you tie enough twigs together. A bundle of twigs. Ben Twiggs Hogan equals follows Ashton Farnsworth in Arizona. Cousin once removed Lance. All back to Idaho Senator Jerry Twiggs. Yes, I watched with bated breath your discussion on the Twiggs family, and I intend to amplify what you said. Sometimes we find stuff ourselves and we send it out, and that is generation. And sometimes we find what someone else has done and we amplify. So if you don't follow, I don't give a damn, you should. She does great work. Baby podcaster, brand new podcaster. Has been doing it a very short period of time. Wears a cool hat. But I have seen shorts where she didn't have the hat on. So I don't know if she wears it all the time. But thank you for that very generous contribution as well. I don't think Trump wrote that truth post. I think it was AI generated, although Trump is responsible for publishing it. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. Irrelevant. He ratified it by publishing it. God has blessed you with a gift. You made a safe place for many of my fellow viewers who are going through heartbreaking loss to get through the grief. May prayer, time, and memories ease their pain. Yeah, agreed. I am shocked with how close this community has come so quickly. It's a really special place. No Fed slop zone. That's correct. Yeah, I'm not going to say that one out loud. I got enough trouble with the YouTube algorithm. But it feels like that, doesn't it? But Baron, I am whelmed and combobulated. Love your show. You and Candace have me moving towards becoming Catholic. I read Rome Sweet Home. Thank you for all you do and the high IQ merch. Thank you for all those very generous contributions. Very generous compliments and the generous contribution. But yeah, my favorite part of that is you're whelmed, finally. Like, it's hard to get whelmed. No, I'm kidding. And welcome home. Thank you, John. They're very generous. This is your reminder to open the Rumble chat. Oh, it's been open. I opened it when I went live. I see him over there rumbling. I know you rumblers. I know how you people are. Physicist here on 4.9, I sent you the email with the subject temporary magnet, which promised in 4.7 chat. Completely explains the cause of the necklace. Exact motion, breaking and striking based on electrocution has the answers you seek. Well, thank you. I'm glad to know that. You know what I did though? All right, so I might need someone to send me the Rumble chats from earlier. I only have one up, and I know I saw another one roll through. So If someone could do that, that would be amazing. I just have the last one that I see because I forgot to put the there's a place you got to put it to hold all of them. I forgot to do that. So yeah, thank you, Rumble Chat Mentor. Physicist here. Oh, I just read that. So thank you. I will check that out. I've not had a chance to check the email. Been very busy. Serious business. As a cop, I detain a murder suspect. They're in custody. I read rights ASAP. On scene investigation, interrogation can take hours before formal arrest. Your timeline aligns with SOP and common sense. You know what's funny about that is everyone I've talked to agrees. Everyone I've talked to agrees. You would never take a murder suspect into custody at all without Mirandizing them. And I've asked professionals. So thank you. Can you give a quick breakdown on the lies about World War II? I only know what we're taught in school. I can't do that right now. But just know that they had like 95 chances to end that war very early on and did not. You should read. All right, here's it's a short book. It's called War is a Racket by General Smedley Butler. War is a Racket. You can get a PDF copy of it online, like 3 toilet trips. It won't take you long to read. It's only like 50 pages. It's phenomenal. And it'll give you indication of what the lies are and why. Off topic, but wasn't it great Melania calling attention back to the files and pretty much throwing old Donnie under the bus? Yeah, I'm just curious why she did it. I think we're kind of getting an indication that it's a former colleague of hers or someone she knows, and she's trying to get out in front of it. But we'll see. I just realized it's not a members live. Yes, I did. It's a live. Watching too much Candace and Tucker Carlson, and I'm low IQ now. Oh, no. Still love you, Christ King indeed. They will make you high IQ as well. You're not watching Fed Sloppers. Thoroughly enjoyed your discussion with Zach, as did I. The rust on the roof comment was worth the price of the members only fee. I can't believe someone said that. I can't believe someone said that. I can't believe I read it. I didn't mean to. I'm blushing now thinking about it. Poor Zach. Zach had to learn he was a gender and then he get hit with that comment. All on the same show. I feel bad for him. You know, when you find out you're a ginger for the first time, it's hard on a man. So I get it. I understand why he's pushing back, but facts are stubborn things. Instead of a never-ending list of Fed lies, try and find one thing that was true, and that's the one they didn't lie about. Fair. Sanandra from Planet Clarion. I think she's in the Discord. Yes, that's common in Discord chats. I've hit the like, but it's midnight here, Serbia, so I'll watch the show in the morning. Happy Easter to Orthodox Christians. Christos Voskresy. Christ is risen. Oh, Christ is risen indeed. Hey, I told you we're big in the Balkans. You guys think I'm messing around when I say that? You don't know what the numbers look like. You look at the numbers on the back end. Huge in the Balkans. Unbelievable. I don't know what it is about the Balkans. They love this show. Maybe it's the Adidas. You know, they love Adidas. That could be it. They like the Adidas. Oh, and happy Easter, my Orthodox friends. I think the other plans for Tyler were to unalive. Well, let me say this. Yes, that's correct. Technically, it's still Easter here and the non-Orthodox people as well. Today was the 8th day of the octave of Easter, the 8th day of the 50-day Easter season. So I think the other plan for Tyler was to unalive him. I think that was the original plan, not the other plan. I think the other plan was to frame him if he turned himself in. I don't think that was on the agenda. I think that was cobbled together at the end, which is why you see all this Fed slop. Bubba Barron been watching these Solo since October. Not anymore. Oh, been watching Solo. RBC is now on big screen in this home. By the way, did anyone ever confirm TR eating a steak at the restaurant for the timeline? No, I don't think it's been confirmed. Just been reported. I don't know how you'd confirm it. I guess a credit card receipt or something would. Hey, Baron, I think I found where Ben Shap was promised things 3,000 years ago. Oh, Ben Shapiro. Deuteronomy 15:6. Thanks for consistently great shows and for showing us. Oh, Saving Nation Study Bible. What did you say it was? Deuteronomy? We go to Deuteronomy? You're making me read Deuteronomy? How often do you crack open Deuteronomy? Seriously. Who sits down in the morning like, what should I read today? We're going to the Deutero. 15:6. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. All right, here we go. 15:6. Since the Lord your God will bless you as he promised, you will lend to many nations and borrow from none. Come on. Come on. You will rule over many nations and none will rule over you. Come on. Hit him with the money lender? That was a commenter. That wasn't me. I was just reading what he said. It's in the good book. It's in the good book. Thank you, Jewel. Jewel 33. I was able to get my 75-year-old dad to finally understand the tiny hats CIA have been behind just about everything wrong with our current situation. I suggest everyone watch Barron's Google Trends. You ought to. It was good. Wilkes Brothers had his real flags in front of their house Tuesday after your podcast. They only have U.S. flags now. Love your show. First time commenting. Wow, really? Hi, Ferris. How you doing, old boy? I had no idea. Is that true? Baron, I watched In the Bedroom today. So good. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm telling you, I don't get it wrong. I don't watch a lot of movies. So when I recommend one, you know it's good. So good. I need to watch it again. Baron, episode 58, first 15 minutes of Maverick Approach. Shows fascinating areas of videos of TR being enhanced by AI. Christ is King. I don't know what Maverick Approach is. I will have to check that out. I don't know what that means. I mean, I'm assuming that's a podcast, but Baron, love the podcast, but I don't know if I can watch anymore. Gary says you're a liar and that Tyler killed Charlie. End of story. Ha. Hey, again, we're a high IQ outfit, which means we are not married to anything. I don't believe Tyler Robinson pulled the trigger. I don't even believe a trigger was pulled. But I'm open to anything. But the Fed slop is failing over and over and over again. They're embarrassing themselves. I read a book, This Naked Mind, Quit Drinking, 6 years sober. I mean, slip that out. It was all based on cognitive dissonance. Aha, see? The opening was for you. I love that opening, by the way. Long-time listener, first-time caller, Fed fam at 4, so I wouldn't miss the live. Oh, Fed fam. I thought you meant you had a federal family. Mm-hmm. Christ is the truth. Agreed. We'll never stop searching. Sober 5 years. Lutheran, considering Catholicism at this point. Christ is king indeed. Keep it max. Always keeping it max. Always keeping it max. I love when you guys put your dinner plans in so you can watch. I also did my dinner plans early. Baron, my 4 boys ranging from 13 to 18 years old have watched 2 full lives of RBP with me. They said, hey, Dad, Baron is legit. Boys, be like Baron, inquisitive, intelligent, compassionate, strong, and fearless. Thank you for you. Thank you. Thank you. And humble. You forgot humble. And listen to all that. Baron, my podcast, Lakes, Bridges, and Boats on Spotify. Apple Podcast went from 2 listens daily to 12. I did a 10-part USS Liberty series you mentioned. I am sure you are why. Thank you, and Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Good for you. That's interesting. A 10-part series on the USS Liberty. That's a lot of USS Liberty. I consider doing like a 10-minute opening on it. Spotify's been a great partner to this program, by the way. I can't recommend them highly enough if you like listening to things on replay. According to Vatican translator, we read this last time. Didn't we? I'll read it again, but I think we read this last time. Moro Biglino, Old Testament Bible mistranslations include Elohim, plural for Sky Council, Elion, Yahweh, El Shaddai, traveled on Kavad that emitted Ruach. Yeah, I think you said that before, but thank you for that. Regarding interior vehicle pics from Candace, could the pieces of plastic in Charlie Kirk's vehicle be from the broken back passenger interior door handle? Let me look. Oh, please. No, it's not broken. I hope you can see this. Here, where can I get there? It's not broken. That's the interior back passenger door handle. Intact. All the way through. So no, it can't be. I have that model Yukon and checked out mine. There had to be a decent amount of force to break that handle. The handle's not broken. I just looked at it. That's a better version of the picture she showed on air. 10 membos dropping down. You guys should go back. Anyone who got that gift, go back and watch the Zach Costello member. It was great. Patel tweets. We got him at 425. Lands in Utah around 530, and the gun is found at 540. Sounds to me he was tweeting that to clear the area and have evidence planted. Keep going, Max. Christ is king. That's a good point. That's a good point. In the near future, I intend to do a show on the comings and goings of the FBI planes. They're interesting. It'll be a fun show. Christ is king indeed. This may have already been debunked, but wanted to ask just in case. Can't stop thinking about what happened inside that vehicle. I don't think it's been debunked at all. Whatever happened to that vehicle is weird. I mean, it's a Denali Yukon. It's huge. Pull his feet in and close the door. He's dead. Not to be morbid. So many people are sharing your podcast. I'm so happy you're finally getting the recognition you deserve. Christ is king. Indeed. Keep up the great high IQ work. We're doing our best here. We're doing our best. Baron, thank you for your relentless pursuit of truth and for this great community. Shout out to Daisy and Casey too. Yes. It's the prep that goes into this program on a daily basis is what makes the magic happen. I couldn't do it without them. So thank you. B, I just watched TS going back over TR footage of the Shadows match for 12:23 when he's just jumping off the roof. Length of the shadow on light post looks too long. Christ is king. That's a good point. I haven't gone back to look at that. And I don't know that I have time right now. Let me put that on my notes. Look at shadow on roof jump. Okay, thank you. That's good. That's a good tip. Baron, my man, can you give my son a shout out? He's 16 and starting YouTube at Book67. It would make his world. I'm shouting him out. I wish I knew his real name. BOUK 67. Found you a few months ago. We love your sign off. Always remember Jesus loves you. Okie OSU grad, raised in Kansas, now California. Son is Bama grad, so loving the hoodie choice. I would never wear an Alabama hoodie. I know, Indiana red, not Roll Tide Crimson. Jesus loves you. You see this pennant in the back here? It's kind of blurry because of the DOF, but this is Auburn. This is Auburn. A fine institution, if I say so. But thank you. Kind words. Thank you, B-Man. Sundays are great. Early mornings in church, day with family, then B-Man in the afternoon. My daughter today sang the psalm. She was the cantor for the song, my 7-year-old daughter. Knocked it out of the park, smiled the whole time, was having a blast. It was a great morning. Knowing the kind of life insurance policy Danks found CK had, Erica has to be above reproach to be eligible for the $40 million benefit, very possibly affecting her behavior, ascendancy to CEO for what it's worth. How do we know that? Have we read the terms and it says you have to be above reproach? I'd love to see that. I don't know what that is. I am Mitch Snow, the real one. Talk about the moon mission. It's fake. It's the fakest thing I've ever seen pulled off. Look at this. Hold on. Let me pull this over here. I was looking at this before the show went on today. Don't tell Daisy and Casey that. They'll be upset that I got distracted. But I have ADHD and I get distracted. Look at this. You know what this is? This is an aircraft that was circling over the moon mission landing zone. Now look at its path the day before, about the time their quote unquote reentry. See that? You see that? It's flying at 20,000 feet, 229 knots. This 200 knots. This is where they came in, allegedly. This is where they re-entered. But we got a plane over there flying around it. Oh, and by the way, this is a bomber that could absolutely hold that capsule and push it out of the bay. Fake and gay. but more fake. So yes. Thank you, Mitch. Was Axel 10 one of planes on day of BB? I believe it flew out of Ontario on day of BB, which is where Jack Hibbs lives. Oh, Big Bang. Hi, Donna. Go Max. It did not fly out of Ontario that day. It flew out of Ontario the next morning. That day, it flew out of El Paso and Kalispell. The next morning, the next evening, when Tyler Robinson turned himself in, it left Ontario, California. And instead of flying down to El Paso, it flew up to St. George, circled, and then flew down to El Paso. But not Axel 10. It was a different plane, of the same class. Baron, looked way back on some of your old content. Came across one, your mic is so high. Your dress shirt with sleeves flapping about unbuttoned. Wild made me laugh. Evolution has worked for you. Oh, gosh. I don't know what you were watching. On way back. Some of my old content. On YouTube, you mean? Yeah, probably. Don't go doing that, though. Don't go doing that. Filing a false police report by police is a crime. Agreed. I heard someone say today it's easier to fool people than it is to convince people they've been fooled. Mark Twain. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Love how our humble host invites us into his home office for a high IQ chat. Never change. I will not. But Baron, great opening statement, as always. Thank you. I just want to say thank you for extremely high IQ outfit, for seeking truth, and for pointing us to the most important truth of all, Christ is King. Thank you. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. Feels like the sheriff's friend and current sheriff were part of the plan. Do they have any ties to TPUSA EK? I don't know. I don't know that the Utah County Sheriff would have to be part of the plan. Oh, I'm sorry. The sheriff's friend, Mike Mitchell, and the current sheriff. Though he's no longer the current sheriff. He was the sheriff at the time. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. TR allegedly had convo with fan about hating CK. Allegedly. Actually, though, if you read that, it doesn't say Tyler said that. It said a family member said that. A family member said that they hated CK. I don't think it said he did. I'd have to go back and look, but yeah, I'm willing to give you that. Have you looked into Project Constitution's interview with Mike Fry? If believed, Charlie started suspecting things late 2024. Any thoughts? I have not. I've not seen that. Hi, Gary. Welcome back to the program. I hope you brought your notebook and pencil so you can take high IQ notes. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Well, I'm sure he likes every show. They didn't plan on B-Man comparing shadow puppets. No, they didn't. That wasn't part of their plan. CK doppelganger at church today looked just like him. Same head shape, very tall, came alone, didn't speak to anyone. I tried to follow to get a better look, but he vanished. I know he isn't alive, but you're leaving out the best important part. Where the hell are you? Where are you? But to be fair, Charlie looked kind of normal, and there's a lot of tall people out there. Dear sir, you or Queen Candace need to get hold of TR and CK parents for an interview unless they're both being threatened with a gag order, NDA. I don't think they want to do an interview. Tony Segura tracked 4 of the 16 Israeli cell phones that were in Utah to the recent Iran negotiations with VP today. Yeah, I saw that. It was yesterday, but yeah, I saw that. I'm assuming that's right, and he seems legit, but I noticed he didn't provide screenshots showing why he knows that. I would like to see that. Your Majesty, Baron, what if the feds set him up with a meeting with a minor like at Dairy Queen? So that way they have something on him. He then decides to call their bluff. Keep going, Max. I will. That's. I think they would have done that before, like to get him and get the meaty hooks in him before the big bang. If the shadow doesn't fit, you must have quit. Thanks for being one of the way too reasonable human beings speaking up. Bless you, Christ is King indeed. Keep going, Max. I want a hoodie. I've got a Daisy. Yeah, we'll get a Daisy hoodie put together. The defense calls Mikey McCoy, Andrew Colvett, Dan Flood, Brian Harpole, Terrell Farnsworth, maybe his senator uncle, Cabot, Lori Cardozo Moore. Oh, can you imagine that testimony? She's bat doo-doo crazy. Andy Marr, whoever requested the UVU event on July 18th and made it happen so quickly. There's more people they should call. But again, you got to know what they're going to say. Like, you got to depose them ahead of time. Happy Sunday, Baron and Daisy. Found the ME who performed CK autopsy has also left his position as of March. That's correct. First Brooksby, then now the ME. Who's next? Yeah, that is correct. He's gone. Maybe CK was supposed to be faking his death and it was an accident with shrapnel from the chest shock device that he was fatally injured. I've considered that. I don't know that I believe it, but it's crossed my mind. Video of him walking. Look at water at bottom of driveway. Leaves are different. Wet leaves don't disappear even if water dries up. Different days. We've looked at the water before. I haven't noticed the leaves. I have to look into that. Hold on. Let me put that on my notes. Got to put everything on my notes or I'll forget. Look at leaves. Driveway. I'll remember. You are doing a job and you're being quoted everywhere. I'm oddly proud to have been here from almost the start of October. God bless you and yours. Thank you. God bless you as well, Anna. Patel's side on the news himself. They found out what was in the note using aggressive interrogation techniques. Not one word about a photo. Are we sure about the photo? Just asking. No, we're not at all sure about the photo. We're very suspicious of the photo. The Seekers cult sounds like these Shakers meet Scientology just before Jim Jones convinces them Kool-Aid is refreshing. Tyler was set up to be a patsy, I'm sure. LOL, you rock, Sir Barrett. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Look what Gray Hughes did in the Delphi case. I keep hearing about it, but I don't want to check it. I don't have time to follow that. Strange fact. The sheriff friend was TR former LDS bishop. I don't know what the role is of the bishop there. Is that like a big deal? When Tyler was a teenager, oddly, this never gets brought up. TR asked family friend to put him somewhere safe because they are going to kill me. So he did. Now a patsy. There's a lot of assumptions in there that I don't know to be true. I don't know if he was a former bishop. Maybe. Maybe that's why it's not getting brought up. The family friend to put him somewhere safe because they're going to kill me. I've not seen that quote anywhere. If you can provide that quote to me, I would love to see it. Baron, man in mask in 1925 life is driving video, right side of screen, comes running from behind police tape and jump through. Okay, now I know who you're talking about because you give me a timestamp. I know exactly what you're talking about. Right after the Big Bang, guy comes running across the top of the Hall of Flags. Please check. I don't know what I'm checking for. I haven't seen it. Also, EK Aunt, her mom. Go max at Blake Neff speed. I don't know who her mom is. I don't know that she knows who her mom is. Just being honest. Have you ever seen a picture of her mom expecting? You ever seen baby pictures of Erica? Like 2 months old, 6 months old, a year old? Has she? TR never confessed to shooting CK. He told them he was part of it, but did not pull the trigger and could prove that even his clothes, there's no gunpowder residue on them. That's why he wore them. Are you assuming that? Or are you stating that as fact? Because I've not seen any documentary evidence of that, but I could see that being the case. Isn't it weird the FBI was able to recover Nancy Guthrie's video, but somehow they can't retrieve it when Tyler turned himself in? God bless. Yeah, that's a little weird. Why drop the pew just to go back and retrieve it? That's a good question. I've asked myself that a lot. Why would Tyler text that he hoped he could keep this secret to his grave, but left a note under the keyboard? That note said he had instead of have the opportunity. Yes. I've asked myself those same questions. I asked them at the end, very specifically. I appreciate your work, your work, everyone else who's part of this community of truth. There are more of us. Christ is king indeed. Followed Gray Hughes for years. He's great at analyzing video and pics, but his temper is legendary. He also has trouble knowing what I'm saying. He also is unable to weigh in intelligently on what I'm saying. Became uncomfortable to watch him lose his cool. Viewers do not want to be yelled at. Thank you. You are not mean, but logical. Yeah, thank you. I don't want to be mean. Baron done an amazing job on Charlie's case. I asked my humble host to go max. I will. A trained canine can find a recently fired gun in a barrel of peanut butter. That's correct. If TR wanted to take it to his grave, he gave an awful lot of info in his text. The extent of their lies makes me sick. Justice for Charlie. Go max, Baron. Yes. And I want to know why the Fed sloppers, how they reconcile that. He wants to take it to his grave. He never really confessed to doing it in those texts, except the Discord, which is very suspicious. The timing is suspicious. The diction, the grammar, the syntax is very suspicious. He did kind of maybe confess in the text if it's real, where he said, I say Grandpa's gun did okay. But he never said, I did okay with Grandpa's gun. He just said it did okay, meaning someone else may have used it, and it did okay, if I say so. So I don't know, man. This alleged confession was even implied to his parents. not stated to his parents. So they state so confidently, he confessed. Where? The Discord chat? That's weird. That would be the only place he actually confessed, was to as many people as possible. And anyone who had a login to that server could later find it. That's a weird place to only confess. All the messages were so nonchalant, as if he wouldn't be freaking out after dropping someone, we'll say. Do not buying what they're selling? Correct, I'm not either. It's clear whoever wrote the messages had no clue how he furry and his boyfriend talked to each other. Dan Bongina, in an interview with Megyn Kelly, said they had to pick Tyler up and the drive was about 3 hours. I rest my case, counselor. Your Honor. We move for judgment as a matter of law. I don't know what else to say. It's over. Directed verdict, Your Honor. Fed slap on Broadway. Barron plays Tyler and Lance. Coach gets like 8 parts. Candace is herself, taking them all down. Fleet and Lance with music and special effects. Oh, it's going to be amazing. You're going to have to get tickets. They're not going to be cheap either. B, my son Brandon passed in 2020. Ooh, that's terrible. It'll be 6 years on April 29th. K9 and cops missed him. They cleared the area and released his last phone ping coordinates. My daughter found him in 15 minutes. They didn't care. Keep going, Max. Crisis King. That is horrific. I'm so sorry to hear that. Crisis King indeed. I cannot imagine losing a child. Those that have experienced it, I don't know how you obviously you do, but I don't know how you wake up. I'm sorry. Thank you for sharing that. Hopefully 3 hours ago, hoping that Pooch had a bad sniffer. Did he see the canine? If not, who told him? And 3 hours passed without knowing for sure? Yeah, that's a good point. A good point. He seems pretty hell-bent on going to get something that may not even be there anymore. Any chance you'll put Clips channel in playlists? My little guy wants to watch, but I don't want random videos playing as he does. I could do that. I could do like an opening statement playlist. I'm just doing openings for right now, just because we're getting used to having it there. If you're not subscribed, you can. Baron Coleman Clips. If 9/11 was not done by Muslims, then why Muslims are hated in America? I was stopped on every airport for years for registration before going on an airplane, and then we discovered that it was done by our best ally. I think you've answered your own question. They wanted us to be adverse with each other. I mean, that's been the play now, I think, for 100 years or so. And we shouldn't be at all. And we weren't for a long time. Maybe one day we'll get back to that. I hope so. Isn't that typical of what happens in ancient scriptures? Because they were hand copied by scribes. My son is a gamer and plays D&D. He stated they did not like to talk like that in the gaming world. Of course they don't. Great song references. I always have good song references. Sir or ma'am. Oh, you're a ma'am. Ma'am. I don't know what a blue-eyed hillbilly is. I got to look at your avatar there. Ma'am. Another great episode, per usual. Thank you. Thank you for your work on this. Do you think if Kamala was elected, Charlie might still be alive? That's a good thought experiment. I don't know. I had a really good conversation. Let me pull this down for a second. I had a really good conversation last night with a good friend, a long old friend. He was a wise political philosopher, very wise. And he speculated, I don't want to say stated, but he speculated that perhaps Charlie's death was meant to divide the right more than it was to remove Charlie. In other words, there was clearly a faction on the right, but they were kind of cooperating and working together and all kind of supporting Trump and voting in a block. And if you wanted to divide the right, you had to pick a high-profile figure that was really struggling with a question that would be divisive. So you take Charlie out, and then you get people hating Tucker and Candace on the right. And you get people on the right hating Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin. And I have to say, I was somewhat drawn to that argument. I was somewhat drawn to that argument. I'm still marinating on everything we talked about. It was very long. It was like an hour, 15-minute conversation. I'm still very much marinating. It's one of the reasons I went to bed so late, but I'm still marinating on that conversation. He called about something totally different. He called about Trump's ear. His question was, and it's a good question. I've not thought about this, but as you watch the Butler, Pennsylvania video footage, do you see any kind of ejection out of his ear, out of his hat? In other words, if it's possible there was some weird movement under Charlie's shirt, is it possible there was something under Trump's hat? I said I didn't see anything. I've watched it again. I don't see anything. No, but I said I would ask if anybody else saw anything. Save time and money. Put on your next truck rental nationwide. Do you know what people are offering to pay for ads on this show? More than $10. Way more than $10. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'll block you if you keep doing it. Did you see Danks ran facial recognition on DQ TR against Courtroom TR? And 5 model shows 0 match. Could be DQ. Could DQ be the top TR doppelganger? Forgot his name. 49 episode 14020. You talking about Connor Henderson? I think that's the guy we kind of settled on, a potential doppelganger. That's interesting to me because that does kind of look like Connor Henderson and Dairy Queen, actually, now that you mention it. Sometimes I'm Charles Dickens. Sometimes I'm Chuck D. Now, listen, folks, I'm serious. These texts are all from me. Hey, Jim, that's one of the highest IQ comments I've gotten in a long time because Charles Dickinson is Chuck D, but it's not Chuck D. Chuck D wore Adidas, by the way. I found a confession note from my husband. I call instantly, not text. Yeah. Thank you for the high IQ investigation, Crisis King. Crisis King, indeed. Yeah, that is weird that they never called during that day. They just texted each other the whole time, and then they go like long periods without talking at all. Your man's on the run. He's on the lam. Crisis King, indeed. Thank you. You're welcome. Google of one heart and one mind. Indigenous Latter-day Saints gather in Utah. Hit images to see length of human shadow in Provo at 8 a.m. on 9/13/25. Oh, I'm sure they're 29 feet long. I anticipate that, but thank you. One author used correct grammar punctuation, including apostrophes on contractions, and the other is dropping G's and using the F word. I call bull butter. Bull butter indeed. Bull butter indeed. No doubt about it. Any Mr. Robot fans? Never heard of it. I remember when his friends were held at gunpoint, forced into a garage where everything's laid out, and they were being framed as terrorists. I feel like it's the same situation with TR. So sad. I pray for the guy. I think he was framed. I've never seen Mr. Robot, though. No wonder you decided to wear red. You are on fire. Thank you for what you do. High IQ. Well, thank you. I did decide to wear red because I was angry. They don't teach grammar anymore. Well, half the time they do. Half the texts are grammar correct. The way you speak, write, and type on a keyboard can be determined, and expert witnesses testify in court for that. Syntax, speech, verbiage use is unique to each person. The texts are BS. Christ is king indeed. And I assume you're not talking about Ben Shapiro, who has the most appropriate initials in all of the world. Was thinking 2 authors too, like Kirk Cobain by note. Yes, that's correct. Good call. Salutations, greetings, good morning, good evening, wherever you happen to be. Watch in the bedroom. Thanks for the recommendations. Enjoyed it thoroughly. I've got great movie recs. I don't mess around. I don't watch bad movies. TR's response to how long have you been planning this seems like an answer to a different question to me. He's almost dismissive of the question. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good catch. Almost like it was fake. Almost like it was fake. Military plan and spent millions. FBI was winging it. Yeah. Can you imagine you plan that whole thing out, you pull it off, everybody gets away with it, and then this happens, this Fed slop, and they're like, guys, we flew a spy plane. 2 spy planes. Everything was perfect. And you make him text like an actor in the 1930s? Are you crazy? Not my fault. Grindr crashes whenever y'all get together. Well, it's true. True. It's not. Grindr app, friend of the show. Not friend of this show. Friend of, well, maybe for some of you. But definitely a friend of TPUSA. No doubt about that. Baron is right. He wasn't supposed to live. No, that's correct. He was not. I'm convinced. CIA has specific format for reports per Jack Curacao. Also, Real JR's hat is Hurley brand. White logo. Stairway Bros is not. Nice try, Feds. Price is king. Yeah, Fed slop. Fed slop. Is property inventory from county detention public? Wallet, receipts, keys, phone? I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so. After listening to EK's most eloquent speeches and reading AW's brilliant chapter book posts, posts, I am convinced those two empty heads are behind those TR and LT text messages, in my opinion. I doubt they would be trusted with that. Humphrey Bogart was known for playing gangsters. Maybe use another old-time movie star as an example of speaking in highbrow prose. Maybe Leslie Howard? Oogie doogie. Oogie doogie. My friend. Oh, friend. I may have missed someone mentioning this, but Rogan and Theo were talking about, the AES flattening. And we're fumbling around about who was able to potentially link it to the CK incident. I was so offended for you and or Daisy. I didn't watch that. They were trying to guess how could anyone have possibly figured that out. I think your humble host was the first, if I'm not mistaken. My post is timestamped. It's still up. It's October 12th. I'll be interested if anybody ever put that together before October 12th. I don't think they did. Thank you. Keep pounding. Go Max. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. Keep pounding. Sounds X-rated. Some hate can't be negotiated out. Sounds like they are talking to Charlie because they had tried to bribe, coerce, negotiate with him many times. Another sign it was Feds writing like a hidden confession. Yeah, it could be. Could be. What's an RSD buck? Is that Dutch? Royal something Dutch? RSD currency. Oh, Serbian. Huge in the Balkans. Huge in the Balkans. Oh, I should have just read your comment. I'm so embarrassed. Hi, B, a longtime follower from Serbia. Your Balkan fan pool. The only thing that bothers me is the second part of the timestamp in the motion, which suggests that 6 p.m. was already 3 hours in the WC office, i.e. form 3 p.m. So I don't read it that way. The way I think this is, they put all the video and all the stuff on one thing and they just run it through with different timestamps. So it's just like this has just happened to where it fall. It happened to be where it fell. That's the way I read it. 3 p.m. would be even more problematic for the Fed sloppers. I have 912 screenshot of Tyler with black nail polish. First fist walking Tyler doesn't. FYI for super chat, but always watch, listen. Interesting. Let me look at those pictures. Because that's interesting. If he doesn't have black nail polish, where were my pictures? That day? Hold on. Oh, first set of photos on X. We're looking. I don't see his nails. I don't know how you would know that. He has fist balled up. I don't know how you would know that. Maybe the second set you were talking about? Don't see him in that picture. Don't see nails in that picture. Oh, I see nail in that picture. Here, I'll show it to you. There's no black fingernail. Are we saying he painted his fingernails black in custody? Because you're right. You zoom in right there. There's no black fingernail there. See that? Let's see if we can find Tyler Robinson black fingernail. Images. I don't see any pictures of him with black fingernails. I'd have to dig around a little bit and find that out. Good catch though, if that's true. Very good catch. Thank God for the cognitive dissonance, the discomfort I had surrounding Philly and being Christian 5 years ago. I then studied the scales fell from my eyes. Yeah, that's talk about cognitive dissonance. I wonder if Lance was trained special op, trained to shoot, hang from buildings, and setting up patsies. He was probably supposed to be taken out after, but the opportunity was lost. What say you? I don't know about Lance being a trained special op. I mean, he doesn't look like one. Hey, Baron, first time super chat here. Which hoodie color is equivalent to bad cop Baron? We didn't know what to expect. Thank you for standing up for the truth. God bless. I don't know that I have a bad cop hoodie. My red is my angry hoodie. Like when I'm frustrated, my angry hoodie. Okay, it's 8th grade dance, and my boy B is hesitant to ask his crush for the slow dance he wants so bad. So I got to be a good wingman and ask. Candace, can Baron please interview George? I've talked to her like 5 times since then. I just can't work up the courage to ask. I don't want to give too much away, but I have a plan to ask soon. I'd rather ask him face to face. Then he can't tell me no. He can't tell me no. I've got that planned. Local Utah news station interviewed mom of 2 boys that lived in the same neighborhood as TR and LT, said they were good kids that rode bicycles and had sleepovers. Sounds like T&L childhood friends. I haven't seen that. Thank you. Have to find that. I've never been so happy as I am now that you removed DJ T Pick from your wall. Love your show, Bubba Baron. Yeah, I couldn't. Thank you for that, but I could not do it any longer. Have you seen the extended video of Tyler walking by Lyman's relative's house? Once he passes the driveway, he walks in the person's yard and lingers. It's actually worse than that. He walks down the road, the shadow pick, and he keeps going. He stops at the end of the driveway for like 5 seconds. I don't know what he's doing. He like circles around a little bit behind a bush, and then he walks up through the yard. That's not what they told us happened. They told us he walked to the end of the street and crossed over, I believe. I don't know why are you not just giving us raw footage? Why is everything clipped and zoomed and poked? Just show us the enhanced. Stop enhancing stuff. I don't need anything enhanced. We can enhance on our side. We have enhancements. This came out all wrong. We have the ability to enhance. Did Andrew Colvett tattletale to Bibi and Miriam? President Trump planned to take Miriam's money, then double cross her. I don't know. Baron, was the photo released of a rifle stock photo and not his actual gun? Means no way the father recognized it and called Tyler. I keep hearing this is a disputed fact. I thought it was just known initially that was a stock photo. And it doesn't look like a World War I or II era relic either. It looks like a relatively modern synthetic stock. So I don't know. I thought they all used wood guns back then. During proof they lived together, like Elise. I think Lance set him up, and maybe he's the one being forced to help due to his browsing history. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. I have no doubt that guy's a weirdo. Whether he's a criminal weirdo is a different story. I don't know that. But he's a weirdo. Well, let's just get that on the record. No need to beat around the bush. Thought after the Big Bang, TR went and had a steak and then went to Granny's. I don't know about the Granny's part. I think that was speculation, maybe. But there was at least somebody at the restaurant said he was there. 3 hours away. I'm confused. We know he didn't confess. His defense team would know. You are picking out so many holes in the evidence. How are they able to hold TR? And yes, I'm joking with the no caps and no G. I think they have enough evidence to hold him. Now, they'll have a preliminary hearing where the evidence can be tested, and then that things might change. But based on the probable cause affidavit, I think they have enough evidence to hold. Not the probable cause affidavit, the charging doc, whatever they call it in Utah. My boy surprised me with 2 RBP mugs for my birthday. Happy birthday. Sounds like you got the best gifts available. IQ coffee hour with the missus coming my way. Hold, please. Go Max. We will, indeed. 5 more people going to be able to watch the Zach Costello interview from Friday. Hi, Baron Love from Canada. Canuck Bucks. Quick rhetorical question. By all this documents and footage we as a jury have looked over the past 6 months, do they think we're slower than molasses in January? Yes, they do. And people in Canada should not be making molasses references. That's an American thing. You guys eat maple syrup. Totally different. I'm anti-satanic. Does that make me a bad person? No. No, I wish we all were anti-satanic. All caps is gross. Did anyone find the video showing Tyler walking on street and around the brush towards the house? Ask Ali. Yes, I saw it. Good catch. Good catch. Please don't use the word retarded as a high Q outfit. You're a talented orator. That is beneath us as Catholics. Christ is King and go Max. Christ is King indeed. Retarded is a great word, and I'm not going to stop using it. I don't use it often. I use it for effect. That's a great word. It is not. We're not making fun of handicapped people. I hope you understand that. We're making fun of retarded people, like people who do stupid things, like that. So I understand that. I understand the word was off limits there for a long time. It's coming back though. And it's not about handicapped people. Baron, you and Candace are the dynamic duo. My sister and I love watching your show. Go Max, Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. And I will continue to go Max. Hello, Baron, Lady D. Megan Kelly said the TR did, in fact, write those DMs. She said her sources said family confirmed that is exactly how TR spoke in everyday life. Thank you for your time. I'm not going to watch that, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that family sources confirmed, because she may be talking about that third cousin thrice removed who hadn't seen Lance in 10 years or whatever. I don't know. I really don't want to go watch that. I've not heard that anywhere else. You're the first person to ever tell me that. Did you see EK's weird new podcast? Why do they not keep her in hiding is beyond me. She's such a bad actress. I saw clips of it. I honestly did not watch the whole thing, but her child looked as uncomfortable as I did. I was very uncomfortable watching those clips, and her kid looked insanely uncomfortable. I have no idea why they let her out of the house. Like, take your $50 million and go. Just, that's enough money for like 10 people to live on for 10 lifetimes. Just go away. On X, I replied to all of the comments Gary posted with Grok's reply about being Mirandized multiple times with the SS of Grok saying Baron Coleman is correct. Don't use AI. We can use better evidence than that. But thank you. Thank you. You have no right to remain silent, but everything we say on your phone can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to a towel. If you cannot afford a towel, one will be taken out of your hamper by us and wrapped around the evidence. I like that, Noah and Paige. I'm not sure which one wrote it or if it was a group effort, but thank you. Thank you. Very generous contribution and hilarious at that. Yeah, I will never in a million years understand the why he wanted to take that secret to his grave, but wanted to make sure absolutely everybody knew about it first. Not to mention, absolutely no one on earth would do or text any of this in this situation. He thinks about Discord. What? Ludicrous. Ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. Can't believe they hosted a press conference at 8 p.m. when he was already in custody at 6:25 p.m. Shady Fetchlop. Yeah, that's the way it looks on paper to me. Jeffrey Epstein and Howard Lutnick were neighbors and lived at 9 and 1 East 71st Street. Have anything to do with what we're talking about? I mean, I appreciate it, but I don't know what the relevance is. Blessed Divine Mercy Sunday, Baron, for those starting to learn real history, suggestions on where to find reliable information. Oh, I have to put some thought into that. I have to put some thought into that. I don't know. But happy Divine Mercy Sunday to you on this Easter octave. Thank you, Bliss. How did his parents know it was the grandpa's gun? Did they show the actual gun on the news or just the black rifle that was a random pick of a gun? Again, we don't know. We don't know if that was the real gun or not. That seems to be debated for some reason. We are trying to find the answer, and they don't want to tell us. Believe it or not, we've asked a very straightforward question, and they will not answer it. I know. Emails. Send a good one with links to EK doing photo shoot video with. Yeah, I'm sure I've seen that. But thank you. Goat, watch 99% of your content since Big Bang. I don't want detractors to hear Moon skepticism. Label you Artemis 2 denier. I'd save it for later on. That's not how the show works. I say whatever the hell I want. And if they don't like it, they can go away. I don't care. Let me say this. I will never tailor what I'm going to say to whether or not I think people would stay and watch. If you think Artemis went to the moon and back, great. I don't. I think it was fake. If you don't want to watch because of that, bye. Don't let the doorknob hit you where the good Lord split you. Sorry. My baby just got engaged. We don't believe in child marriage in this country, ma'am. Helbo shabalada ding dong. Please wait till they're adult age before you allow them to get married. But congratulations, nonetheless. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Even if TR hadn't survived, people would still be investigated because they couldn't tell he wasn't shot by a 30-06 and EK speeches weren't genuine. Don't be so sure of yourself. Don't be so sure of yourself. There's a lot of feds. I mean, nothing about Vegas makes sense and nobody's talking about it. Like it's gone. They got away with it. Believe different device used to send messages from TR to LT. Yeah, I agree. Thanks for the shout out. You're welcome, Truth of AIDS. That was a great video you put together. You've been putting on great work. Notice I followed you on X, so keep it up. Keep it up. Doing great work out there. But Baron, they never accounted for someone like you dunking on them in this fashion. Thanks for all the hard work and standing for truth. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. I don't think they did either. Truly amazing listening to how corrupt things are. One question. What's the deal with Tatum? Why is he so convinced with the initial narrative when there's mounting evidence that we've been lied to? They pay him. He is on the payroll of TPUSA, or at least it was at one time. I assume he still is. To the tune of like $20,000 a month. Allegedly, in my opinion. There might be documentation we have that suggests that. They have no idea what we have. It's amazing, actually. They pay those contributors. I'm sure he wants to keep it. It's a lot of money. If I'm right about that, and it's just my opinion based on what I've seen, but it's just my opinion. It's an informed opinion, but it's an opinion. But let's assume I'm right. Let's assume he makes $20,000 a month or did at one point, or maybe still does or more from TPUSA. That's like 6 times the annual salary of the average American. And that's just one revenue source. One. I don't know if it's true. I assume it's true because of my documentation. If it's not true, then whatever. I take it back. But I think I'm right. If TR was supposed to survive 9/23, would have been the 33-hour mark. But by golly, they weren't going to let him surrender early, ruin their rote. 33. Yeah, I don't know why we constantly have to bring Larry Bird into this. The greatest 33 of all time. T-shirt logo for you. 4K is equal 4L. 4 lies. CK, MLK, RFK, JFK. Yeah, CJK. You can go by 3 letters too. I ordered my RBP shirt today and an Adfleet Good Goy shirt too. Adfleet's great. Thank you for that. Kelly, thank you. Hey, man, would you consider an Artemis 2 segment? Was there a NASA airplane that flew over San Diego waters at time and place where they landed, big enough to hold burned capsule with unburned NASA logo? Yes, there was. I think that logo was made out of passport paper for it not to be burned up at 30,000 degrees or whatever that thing entered at, 3,000 degrees, whatever. Amazing, frankly. But yeah, I showed you that plane. I don't still have it pulled up. I think I X'd it out after I showed it. But yes, actually, did I? Yeah, I X'd it out. Maybe place TR had in mind to call cops to was potential rendezvous spot he was told to meet at after event if he was suspicious at that point. I think it was a rendezvous spot that they were beckoning him to. Watched in the bedroom with my folks. We loved it. One of the last visuals involving a Band-Aid perfectly symbolizes 2025. Christ is king indeed. Yeah, it's such a good. Don't tell anybody how it ends. They never expected us to go full nerd on them. No, they didn't. I guarantee you, they did not expect us to look at the ADSB transponder activity over St. George while Tyler Robinson was in custody, or if you believe the Fed slop in the process of turning himself in. I guarantee you they didn't. Hey, Daisy found the transponder. I reported on it. You put a nice timeline together. This is how decentralized investigating works, Truth. This is how decentralized investigating works. We work as a community to bring information. We now have a second spy plane circling over key events. You're telling me, well, it's just a lone wolf, I'm sure. It's just a lone wolf. It's probably just a lone wolf. A lone wolf just happens to have 2 weird spy planes going over it at the time. Can I get my money now, please? Yes, he's a lone wolf. He's just a lone wolf. Can I get my money now, please? $20,000 a month from DPUSA? Please? I'm just a lone wolf. So you're saying Tyler Robinson is the hero? No, not at all. That's not at all what I'm saying. And I don't want to be mistaken to say that. Baron, were you able to find out who owns the house that was next to Lyman? Yes, I was. Thank you for seeking truth for Charlie. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. It's a cousin, I think, of Phil Lyman. They're related in some way. Imagine if this case was at a K or BN wife or family member. Would they be willing to accept the same type of evidence and facts that we have here as the truth against their spouse? They'd never accept this BS. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed, Stacy. Correct. The fact that everybody's so wanting to just put this away on this Fed slop nonsense should tell you absolutely everything you need to know. My daughter called me while I was watching the Friday Members Only show. Then I had to drive across Phoenix to pick her up from work. She gets in and said, "Is Baron still talking?" I'm going to take that as a compliment. I mean, if I'm being honest, you know how hard it is to talk for 4 hours, 4 days a week, and then do a 3 or 4 hour members show the 5th day a week? Like, this is not just me looking pretty on camera. I got to chat the whole time. Not easy. I'm taking that as a compliment. Humbly taking it as a compliment. You truly live out Micah 6:8, doing justly, walking humbly. Thank you for working on this case, but mostly thank you for showing me what real faith looks like. You are the reason I'm finding my way back to God after all these years. Edith, that is unbelievably humbling of you to say that. Unbelievably humbling of you to say that. Now, Edith, did you know you share a first name with Edith Jones on the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, who just ruled that the federal distillery law, home distillery law, was unconstitutional? Did you know that? Small world. Gray Hughes was brilliant covering the Idaho murders, but he often berates people he disagrees with. Well, that's a bad quality. I received my RBC hoodies today. Yummy and roomy. Yummy indeed. The colors rock. Highly recommend. Y'all go buy merch. Etch. Thank you. Did I put the merch store scroller back up that has the Discord on it? Those are the two most common things I get. What's the Discord thing? What's the merch store? There you go. I'll leave it on for a couple of comments. I can't stand it. It just makes me dizzy. Had the grandson, so joined late. We need Candace and Baron. Good cop, bad cop merch. My sons and I love that you always affirm Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Prayers for all. I would honestly, before I put anything Candace on my stuff, I would ask her permission. I would never monetize someone else's name, brand, face, or anything else without asking you. So let me ask about the George interview first. If I get a good response, things seem on the up and up, then I'll ask, you mind if I do a good cop, bad cop shirt with your face on it? I would never, ever sell merchandise with someone else's name on it or face without telling them, without getting permission, not just telling them. I would ask. But I will ask because that sounds awesome. I keep waiting for Tyler to stand up and say, I want him. Baron, like that scene in My Cousin Vinny. You know what's funny about My Cousin Vinny? Of all the trial shows or courtroom drama, that's really accurate. Like the way they introduce evidence, the way they get the witness qualified, it's all very accurate. It's funny, but it's very accurate, including his opening statement. You remember his opening statement? He gets up there and he says, everything that guy said is bull butter, except he used the real word. It's great. It's great. If you're going to campus, can you photograph the ledge someone jumped down from and make sure the location's concrete matches the high-res photos Trigger Smart showed the other day? Ledge photo is missing full leg smudge. I doubt all the smudge. I bet every smudge is gone now, but I think I know what you're asking. Cool, awesome madness. Thank you. Very kind. Let me get this banner off. You guys see it? Good. Okay. Hi, Baron. There's a video with Brian Harpole on explosives that needs silver to explode and wouldn't have left burns. Very important info. Blake Bednar 6 days ago. Please see. Video with Brian Harpole? Is BH Brian Harpole? Who else would BH be? I don't know who you're talking about. Okay, thank you. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you. I had accommodations for you in St. George when you visit. I know you're not accepting emails, but I'd love to take care of it for you with the fam. Can I email Daisy? Crisis King. Crisis King, indeed. Is this one of those deals where you bug the house and everything I say is recorded and you use it against me in a court of law? Is that one of those type of Airbnbs? If you email accommodations, I don't know that I'll spend the night in St. George, though. I might just drive down there for the day from Orem. Apparently, if Brian Davis can get there in like an hour and a half, so it can't be that far. Can't be that far. I mean, Gary tells me it's like right there. It has to be based on their timeline. Crisis King, indeed. Crisis King. I don't think the spot photographed matches the location someone jumped from. The concrete has very distinct rock patterns. They'll let you know which spot is which. Oh, I'll have to get a very good glance before I go. Have you looked further into Klippenstein? I've not. He has history with the FBI and publishing damning evidence. Recently, a shooting at a D.C. Jewish museum, 2025. I've never looked into him. This community is close, but thanks to you. Thank you for what you do and for reading our super chats. God is good. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. I've never understood the people who try to criticize me for reading super chats. Oh, I want to hear from my community. I want to weigh in on what they say. I want to answer their questions. I've never understood that criticism. I get to as many as I possibly can before we run out of time. Imagine what the world would be like if you and Candace were alive when JFK was killed. I believe the world we know would be vastly different. Thank you for all changing history now. Christ is the king indeed. If we were alive in 1963, we would be stuck with what the big three news channels say, and that's it. And the New York Times and the Washington Post. Like, there was no podcasting back then. It's amazing. Like, the fact that everybody gets frustrated that we speak. Like, just anybody can open a mic. I mean, Mark Levin had this whole segment the other day. He's like, just anybody can open a microphone and say whatever they want. Yeah. Called free speech. Called let the market decide. People don't like what they say, they don't watch. People like what they say, they watch a lot. They like what Candace says. She's Candace, Tucker. I mean, these are like top 5 podcasts in the world. Obviously, people like what they have to say. Sorry, there's no gatekeeper stopping anyone from listening to them. And that's what they ultimately want, is a gatekeeper to stop people from listening to it. Edge, I have a slopper too. It's difficult with 20 plus hours a week spent on this topic. Candace, you, Coach, Lionel, Zach, Allie, added friction with parents who believe juice box rule. Fellow chatter, this is our tribe. Hugs. Yeah, I don't even want to tell you the story I heard from this weekend. I don't even want to tell you. I heard a story this weekend. It was disheartening. Along the same line. High IQ outfit. But what is the hoodie actually meant for, smart guy? If you don't know, ask Mr. Ian Carroll. Okay. Oh, please. I will ask right now. What is this hoodie actually meant for? You guys gonna make fun of me if I talk into my phone? A commenter asked me to ask what the hoodie is actually meant for. I'll let you know. Don't hold it against me. Most people use laptops at home and wouldn't say under the keyboard, unless, of course, you are working late at the office, fled slopping for the cause. I have a keyboard. I have a backup keyboard in case that keyboard dies. And I have 2 backup mice in case this mouse dies. I might be able to leave something under the keyboard. Either keyboard. But yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. Gifted 5 memberships. Adfleet, you're amazing as always. I still owe you I'm terrible at texting, as you can tell. I'm the worst texter. Worst. Oh gosh, so bad. I'll text you back. I apologize. On a show a week or so ago, I appreciate that you had the discernment to denounce remote viewing and mediumship. Yeah. Yeah, I'm anti-satanic. Highly recommend the movie The Blind, the Phil Robertson story, Duck Dynasty. Good story of giving one's life to Jesus and living to glorify him. Funny story about Duck Dynasty. This is probably 10, 15 years ago. We had a consulting shop, and we would place advertising for people. And somebody wanted to play, I don't know, it wasn't a big, it was like, here's 20 grand, get me on TV, let people learn my name. I was like, all right. I'm like, you want me to just pick the show, like pick a schedule for you? You mean work with the news channel, pick a schedule? Like, what do you want? He's like, I don't care. Just want to be on them Duck Boys. I was like, what? You want to be on the what? Them Duck Boys. I want to be on them Duck Boys. What are you talking? Everybody watches the Duck Boys. If I'm on the Duck Boys, everyone's going to know my name. Who are the Duck Boys? And they were talking about Duck Dynasty. I had no idea. I don't watch TV. Highly recommend the movie. I'm such a blessed mom. My son was baptized today. It was beautiful. I haven't stopped smiling. My heart is full. Your heart should be full. That's amazing. Absolutely should be full. Maybe we've been over this, but why does CK have a mic on his shirt when he's also holding one? We have been over this, but I'll tell you quickly. So the mic he's holding is a Shure SM58. It's a microphone that hooks to the PA system and the crowd can hear him. But they also use these video clips for social media. And that SM58 through a PA system is going to sound terrible on YouTube. So they capture the audio here. And that allows them to then use this audio on the social media. I'm almost positive that's right. Almost positive. Man, got more from the fleet. This Tyler's Mouser doesn't fit in his jeans, then quit what that means. Oh, if the Mouser doesn't fit in his jeans, then quit what is what it means. Yeah, I'm still stuck on trying to come up with a good rhyme for the Audi. We had Audygate last week. Video evidence labeled Bates. That number shows Tyler Robinson seated as an officer reads him his Miranda rights at 6:25 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Robinson immediately invokes his right to remain silent. Yeah. Yeah, we've talked. We had 3 shows on that now. We've talked about it. Thank you. Bubba Barron, so I wonder how it works. Do they first find a town where law enforcement and government are corrupt and can be blackmailed? Interesting question. So I'm a big fan of this. Show me the man, I'll show you the crime. This is a philosophy some people have. If you don't like a political opponent or somebody in the media and you dig through their entire life, you'll find something. I mean, you just will. Everybody does something they don't like, they're not proud of, they don't want people to know about, that'll embarrass them, embarrass their family. Everybody. When you find it, you own that guy. Keep in mind the sheriff just resigned for harassment allegations. I'm sure that wasn't his only sin. So you wouldn't have to necessarily find one ahead of time. Just figure out, okay, this is where we're going to be. Go investigate that man until you find something. Good, sir. Did you see Allie's SUV vid with Rick and Tyler turning right into the lawn after passing the driveway? So wild. I sent it for your consideration with Everett. I did not see that. Rick and Tyler turning into... Oh, Tyler turning in the lawn. Yeah, I don't know who Rick is. I think he was alone. I don't know what that means. Thank you. I hope TR writes his book. Why Twiggs needed permission to go home? Probably parents know by now Tyler's involved and told him not to go get involved, or Lance doesn't want to get more involved, shining Tyler on. Just guessing. Yeah, could be. Could be. Doesn't want to be there when the door kicks in and he dies. Doesn't want to accidentally get killed. Ivan, Baron, please buy our Texas Daisy and Miraculous Mods a cup of Joe, as they are simply the best. I think Tyler's defense has discovered a high IQ free consultant Oh, yeah. Thanks for the comments pertaining to my humble little studio. Christ is King. Ivan's got a great studio. Not humble at all. It's beautiful. Makes me embarrassed of my studio. I can't even get my camera set up right before I go live. I've still got it on interview mode. I'm all up here today. Yeah. Allie has image of broken handle too. I don't think she does. I mean, I'm looking at I'm looking at the actual image that she took from YouTube through the YouTube compression, through the, small and boom, boom, all the different stuff. I'm looking at the actual original photo, and I don't see a broken handle. I don't know what to tell you. Let me pull it up again and look one more time. Here it is. Which one is it? That one. No, I don't think it's a broken handle. I don't see anything broken on that door or a broken window. I see a blood spot on the handle. I don't know if you can see that in her video. I see a blood spot on the handle. I see no broken handle that I can tell. I'm zooming in tight too, looking all around. I don't see any breaks. I see some lighting, some like lens flare or something, or not lens flare. It's not the right word. Some streaks of light running through where the molding bends and it captures the light, like the daylight coming through the windows. Maybe that looks like a break in a lower quality photo, but I think it's broken. Now, maybe the door handle on the other side, but we don't have a picture of that. She does. She didn't get it from Candace. Someone else may give it to her. I don't know what. Yeah. I saw one thing on this photo that I didn't think Candace caught, and I'll show it to you guys. I'm not hiding it from you. You know all that black fragmented plastic? I don't have it. I'm sorry, I don't have it uploaded into my computer to show you. Do you know that black fragmented plastic? This one looks red, like it's got blood on it. You see that? That looks red. Where can I? There, it's kind of clear there. That looks red. And if you go around, these other ones don't. They look black. That's the only thing I noticed. One of those looked red. Like the rest of them look black, see? Like that's really zoomed in tight. I don't think it's door handle. Wow, I have a pretty clear picture of a scenario that actually makes sense. Holy doo-doo. Thank you. Oh. You're welcome. I wish you'd share it with us. I love the University of Louisville red. I'll allow that. I don't dislike Louisville. However, you look best in the University of Kentucky blue. Now that's unacceptable. Are you familiar with Hanover or Madison, Indiana? I live right across the river. I'm very familiar with both. Go Max, Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Bless you and yours. Yeah, I'm very familiar with where those are. I know about where you live. They were searching for Tyler if he was sending all those texts. The store that the FBI went to said they were pinging his phone. Why were they not able to find him with all those texts? I think they went back. So I think our timeline's out of whack here. I think they went to that store after they found him and they realized who he was. I mean, this is the story. They realized who he was. Well, let's see where his phone's been. And they showed all the places his phone had been. And they thought, oh, here's a parking lot. Let's see if they have any surveillance footage. That's kind of how I viewed that. The ones not liking my Fed sloppers watching. Oh, the ones not liking maybe Fed sloppers watching. They can't like you. I never miss a show. Thank you and your team for giving us a high IQ community. I'm doing my best out here. We got an Erica Kirk story that just popped up. Erica Kirk faces criticism for shifting Turning Point USA towards Zionism after Charlie Kirk's death. That's the Twitter trend? It just popped up. Look at this. Hold on. You got to see this. This is the trend. That's amazing. She should have disappeared immediately after Charlie died and focused on raising Charlie's children. She could have had someone take over TPUSA and stepped away for the greener pasture of private motherhood. Had she done so, she would have had Princess Diana levels of endearment from the right. Yeah. Another TPUSA Make Heaven Crowded event canceled. The churches are catching on that TPUSA is not about Christ. It's about political ties and messaging. We have people resigning and refusing to work with Eric Kirk, who's now just a spiritual manipulator for the Republican Party. I'm shocked that they aren't canceling the event because Make Heaven Crowded and Eric Kirk proximity to those people. Interesting. She was always a fraud and an implant because man, she's taking it on the chin. Wow. She should have gone away. Please have Moro. Thank you. Thank you. I can't just call people and like demand that they get on the show. Genuine curiosity. Do you feel deep down that EK will ever be implicated legally in terms of the death of CK? Love to you and Mrs. Coleman. Erica? Probably not. Probably not. I don't know. Planes flying and text messages of confessions. Yeah. Yeah. And you should go to Truth Evades, TROOF Evades on X and look at that video because we put the information out, but he actually aggregated it in a way that makes more sense, frankly. So props to him. But he's got a little video with the timeline. And when you see the timeline, you're like, oh, that's where that Discord chat came from. Saw a girl on news also say shot in the heart. Then another interview with her in a group with the woman that was beside shot in the heart blue shirt guy. Yeah. Apparently that was a thing. Ava Brothers, they're my favorite. Amazing music, great guys, incredible and loving fan community, much like this one. So fun to know you are a fan. I'm a big fan. Seen them live many times. I like Ava Brothers quite a lot. Another interview had a girl spell her full name that said gunshot, but cut feed immediately on a guy right after he said he heard a pop. Yeah. After Oswald, a civilian patsy, Tyler's an agent. I don't know. Continued. LOL. I found the shot in the heart girl's name. Blue shirt is Darren Brunson. You probably knew, though. Quite a coinky dink. The two people I've heard say the same woman with them, but separate interviews, news channels. Crisis King. Crisis King, indeed. That's interesting. So what you're saying is Darren Brunson appeared on camera with a woman, and Darren Brunson said he was shot in the heart. Later, a different person appears on camera with the same woman on a different news channel, different interview, and says shot in the heart. That's interesting. See, that's the kind of stuff we need pointed out. Thank you. That is high IQ outfit indeed. Love the show. I've been watching since you went on Candace's show. Go Max. Oh, so you saw my dress fans. I had my dress fans on that day. In case you didn't know. Thank you for that generous contribution. But Baron, why no Easter party? It's breaking our hearts over here. Also, early on was said Tyler went to his grandma's that night. Is this another story change? I don't know who said he went to his grandma's. That's the thing. I think people speculated because grandma lived near there, but I don't know that anyone actually ever said grandma came out and said Tyler was here. Maybe. If so, that got past me. Why no Easter party? Easter was last week. I mean, for most of the world. Our Orthodox brethren are celebrating today. Candace confirmed TR Steakhouse and meal. Yes, she did, but I'm saying I've not heard directly from one of those witnesses. I believe Candace heard that from one of them, but a credit card receipt would go a long way. Gifted 5 memberships. Thank you. Very kind. Public went nuts with charging text style. SW wrote. I don't know what that means. I found your channel through Slightly Lighter, and it's great. No Fled Slop for me. None for you, Caleb. None for me as well. This is a high IQ community. We don't do Fed Slop. Do we do likes, though? Have you guys been liking the video? I need it. I hate to beg. Oh, good likes. Those of you who haven't liked yet, please, by all means. Hey, Baron, happy Sunday. Instead of podcast, maybe call it a subcast or followcast. Love this place. Hangout place. Subcast, people might get the wrong idea what kind of community this is. Dad was a science teacher. Held my tongue when he was excited about Splashdown. Wanted to say people skydive all the time. P.S. Why if walking with rifle down pants, jumping over gate and running with it down pants. I don't know what that green thing is. I can't answer that. But good questions. Benny J said yesterday he recently spoke with sheriff who received TR, and TR confessed in holding room, and they don't know what to do. Email Times link. That would be a new development. That would be an incredible development. Baron and family, blessed Divine Mercy Sunday. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Thank you, Keen, noticing. Was the picture of TR in front of the computer with a picture of Valhalla as screensaver debunked? Yeah, I think we determined that was not Valhalla. I think we determined that was somewhere else. Hi, Baron. I relapsed from trauma of Charlie's death. You, Candace, Coach, have been a huge part of my recovery. Thank you for making days bearable. Much love from Australia. Well, the first thing you need to do is change your username because it's got tequila in it. But yes, stay sober and stay on our side. Stay on our side. Much love to you from Middle Tennessee. Listening from Australia. The Australians are coming in huge in the comments. Really appreciate your work. Love you, Baron. Look forward to your shows. Thank you. Charlie's necklace had some sort of device in it, interfered with the Big Bang. Maybe. I genuinely don't understand how they thought they'd get away with any of this if it isn't the 60s with limited technology and one information source. Yeah. It's interesting. I agree with you, by the way. Baron, probably irrelevant based on facts, but I'm still curious. When a suspected rifle shooter killer is arrested, are photos taken of suspect's shoulder where there likely to be recoil bruising? I don't know. Maybe. Do people bruise from recoil all the time? I've shot a lot of rifles and rarely bruised. I'd love to figure out what crime they used to blackmail Tyler into being a patsy. I also wonder why he would have dropped the pew-pew where he supposedly did. Great questions, both. I have nothing to add to that. Both very good questions. Probably not rhetorical, but I don't have anything to add. What if planned for Tyler to walk, knowing the evidence wouldn't point to him? Ask yourself, what would politicians gain from it? Maybe we really need to know who the prosecutor is and who they're friends with. I don't think they're doing this to make him walk. Daily routine, CC breakfast, CO dinner, BC dessert. Everyone gone yesterday, watched Gary and Gray to see what fed slop they were serving. Woke up with stomachache. Yeah. You don't want to eat too much of that fed slop. Tastes like Alpo. Yeah, I mean, it's just, ugh. Baron, thank you for this wonderful show and consistent output. Any advice on how to harness ADHD? I work from home and find it hard to stay on task. Bless you, your family, and team. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed, Amber. No, I get off task all the time. I don't know. You ask me for advice. I don't know. Wish I could help you. Bongina. And little Marco had front row seats to this weekend's UFC, and DJT had his own walkout song. The other time they had Cash, Gabbard, Rubio, RFK Jr., and Trump there made me think, who the hell is running the country? Well, I mean, you don't need them there all the time running the country, but did you notice DJT didn't get that much of an applause this time? If you listen to the old one and you listen to the new one, it's a different sound in that arena. Lance, emergency reason for having to go home was to swap laundry. Ran out of clothes at parents' house or just there doing his laundry? I don't know. Small token of support from the job you do. Thank you. I appreciate that. Even though your user handle has a 666 in it. Are you, that guy? FBI. S.A. Lang interviews Twiggs. Observe the text messages. She interviewed Gitmo inmate Al Nashiri. Said that bin Laden paid $50,000 for the USS Cole bombing. Well, and that can be. She's in all the big cases. Thanks for all you do. Thank you for your gentle, thank you. I believe the previous super about the water and leaves was talking about the driveway. Correct. I commented about it on your shadow post. Then I saw you only wanted a shadow info, so I commented with an apology. I had to put that up because I put up the post about, hey, can someone measure this? I really was just looking for an answer, like confirmation or like, hey, you don't know how to use these tools. And all I got was like, his hat's blue. It used to be gray. It's not that much to do with the shadow. He looks taller in that pic. Hey, have anything to do with the shadow? I mean, like, I just need help measuring the shadow. Please. I don't want to get lost in the comments. Measure the shadow. Happy Divine Mercy Sunday, Baron. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Thank you for all you do. I love this community. I watched In the Bedroom today. Excellent movie. God bless and Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. I wonder if all of a sudden In the Bedroom got this huge bump after being out for 30 years and they're like, what the hell's going on? Why is everyone watching this movie all at once? We should run this as a special next month. Apparently it's very popular. The plan was to divide the right. Why blame it on a leftist furry? Did they anticipate half of us wouldn't believe it? No. I don't know. I hadn't thought all the way through it. That's why I'm still marinating on it. Low IQ equals logical observer with intellectual quality. Oh. So you're saying low IQ can be a compliment. I disagree. This might be a dumb question, but how is it even possible to get an impartial jury for this trial? Fort Dyer sounds like it's going to be a nightmare. Christ is king indeed. God help us all. I mean, they got a jury for OJ. Much bigger case. But yeah, I mean, they'll have to have a very large jury pool and be very careful how they select. No cowtail for me. That's correct. I will not be having cowtails. Duly noted. Oh no, don't make me not eat cowtails. I hope they will find justice for Charlie, especially since it feels like our government will not take the necessary action. I agree. We're working on it. Could be argued that George Washington was not the first U.S. president. Just a little trivia. John Hanson. I used to have a radio co-host named John Hanson. Probably not the same guy. I miss John Hanson. He was funny. John Hanson would come into the studio completely like just completely out of his mind. Not like drunk or anything, but just like, we'd be talking about something. He'd just chime in on something completely. I'm like, John, we're on topic here. Stay on. I really liked him, though. I really liked John Hanson. Probably wouldn't have gotten into radio without him. He kind of was an encouragement. Hi, Baron. Can you please shout out a happy birthday to my dad, Stan? Stan the man? 84 today. Thanks. Stolatatus. Assume I pronounced that correctly. 84 years old. That's a great age. Good, ripe age. Happy birthday, Stan the man. Shoot. I know you're an Auburn man. Oopsie. Yes. Blake B's video of security AV in the minutes leading up to the bang analysis research on the shape charge. The only analysis I 100% believe is true. Why the beef between Candace and Blake? His frustration seems just love you and Candace. I haven't weighed in on this because I let other people fight their own battles. Probably be wise not to. But give me a sip of water to think about whether I want to weigh in. 2 sips. I think people get really wedded to a theory. And it's rational that in their mind that everyone should accept their theory and should stop everything else they're working on and not commend them. That's not what I don't think he's looking for commendation. I think he thinks he solved the case, and anybody doing anything else is a waste of time. So it's in a way, it's in his mind righteous anger. But I don't agree that we should settle on any one theory and say we're done, it's over. I mean, because then what? What if it's not right? And you've let all this time go by where you've wedded yourself to a particular theory. So I think Blake needs to do his theory, continue researching other possibilities, but I mean, spend time on his theory as he wants to, and let other people do their own investigation. Like, don't tell me how to run my show. I won't tell you how to run yours. And that's it. Like, if you send me evidence and I don't want to use it, you use it, fire up your camera and use it. I think that's the best explanation I can give in the moment. John Bray mentioned the AES event was soon after the release of his work. Unsure I don't care who's first. Regardless, clear connection. I mean, I'll look. I'm not looking for credit. I'm not one of those people. I don't care. I just was pointing out, I don't think anyone else had mentioned it ahead of time. And the reason is because it happened while I was out of town. I got home and people in my neighborhood felt it. They were like, wow, huge explosion. We actually felt it. So I looked it up and I was like, explosives. I wonder if they're a DOD contractor. And I looked it up and I was like, miniature explosives just recently delivered. What the hell is this? I was like, anti-personnel, extra small. Wonder if this got anything to do with the exploding microphone. And so I just went on the air and I was like, You think it's anything to do with the exploding microphone? I have to go back and watch that show. I think that's kind of how it developed. April 12, 2026, Google Trend search spike for Thai coconut chicken. Inspires new merch. Mrs. Coleman's cookbook. Yeah, I've asked her if she'd put one together. She has no interest. But it's delicious. It's my favorite thing she makes. No, I can't say that. One of my favorite things she makes. And we cook rice perfectly in this house. Like, we don't screw up rice. A lot of people screw up rice. It's too sticky. It's too mushy. Our rice is perfect every single time. It's all in the soak. It's all in the soak. You let it soak anywhere from 3 minutes to a day. Doesn't matter. Then you bring the heat up. As soon as it boils, cut it down to medium. As soon as it starts to bubble too high to the top, cut the heat off. Cut the heat off. Get it off the eye. Let it cool down a little bit. Get it back on the eye. Let it steam. Let it steam. 2-to-1. Water to rice. Basmati. Basmati. Not jasmine. Not long grain enriched. Basmati. 100% perfect rice every day. Where was I? The people slow walking behind TR as he jumps down just doesn't seem like they hear a gunshot. Yeah, but I kind of agree with you on that. But I also walk around with these things in my ears at all times. I'm probably frying my brain with Bluetooth rays. I accept it at this point. And a lot of college kids probably do as well. Annie, thank you. Very generous. Great show, Baron and team. Did you read recent filing by defense asking for comms between media and prosecution from March through another date? Maybe an obvious Easter egg. They want decentralized team to request the same via FOIA. State already objected. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. I did notice that, and you'll notice I have not mentioned it. Thank you. I've not mentioned it for a reason. But now that it's out there, yeah, I noticed. And I noticed the state objected. They don't want to hand over their communications with the media. That's telling. That's really telling. I hope the judge smacks him in the face. With sound effects. But Baron, 1999 Adidas hoodies at Costco. Only 3 bars, no Adidas. That's correct. I have owned 3 of them from Costco. I own 3. And my son owns one. He was with me when I bought him. And I was like, you want one? He's like, I could tell. You know how you could tell a kid wants something? They're kind of, you're picking them out. You're like, oh, this is a nice one. Oh, I like this. Great weight. Yeah. Good color. I like this color. Yeah, Dad, that's really nice. It's going to look really cool on you. Hey, you think so? Oh, man. That's a perfect sweater, Dad. You think, and you're like, well, son, would you like a 1999 Adidas hoodie from Costco? Really, Dad? I wasn't, sure. Yeah, I do. I was like, well, if you don't, no, I do. Now he owns a black one. And then he looks great in it. TR looking at death penalty. No time to waste in solving. That's correct. That's why we don't need to spend all our time on one theory. We need to branch out. Cowtails. Oh, my gosh. You're really a Cowtail fan? So one of my best friends from high school lived then next door to me in college. We kind of had our walls touched, our apartment walls touched. He ate Cowtails. May still eat them. I don't know. I think he lives in Texas now. May still eat Cowtails. I don't know. It always weirded me out. We'd go to the gas station. He'd be like, hold on, I got to run in real quick. I'm like, I'm paying at the pump. What are you running in for? And he'd come out with like 5 Cowtails. I'm like, really? Cowtails? He loved them. Hi, B. Watched Allie Top File. She showed Candace interior photos of the SUV. The window is blurred out. Yes, the window's blurred out, but it's not broken. I promise you it's not broken. I'm looking at it. Pull it back up just to double check. I did look at that though. It's not broken. It's blurred out for a specific reason. But it's not broken. And that is the black glass. Or did CO edit it for a reason? Oh, good call. Yeah, no, she edited it for a reason. I'm not going to say why, but there's a reason she edited it. My female intuition told me day one the shadows were something. It's like a banana, maybe. Shadows were a banana. Bull butter? Timestamps were fabricated. Also felt the limping Tyler was due to an injury from jumping off the roof. Pre-recorded. Thoughts? Why would he jump off the roof and then run all the way back down 2 streets and then I don't know about that. Have we lost sight of the fact the photo of the gun was stock image, not specifically grandpa's? Then the message about dad seeing the gun is false. If that's true, then yes, it blows the case wide open, which may be why the New York Post won't answer the question. Let's pray we get out of this war fast. Yes, indeed. John Kirikow, CIA whistleblower on U.S. torture program, white triangle hat is enhanced. Search for months and can't find Delta Airlines logo, maybe? I don't know, but yeah, why are they enhancing stuff? Stop messing with the photos. And now that you messed with them, please, Mr. FBI guy, release the unedited photos so we can see what the hell actually happened. Who these people really were. Baron from a Purina employee. Stop comparing Alpo to FedSlop. It's one of our best sellers. Thank you for your hard work. Crisis King indeed. Dogs like Alpo. Podcasters are not supposed to like Alpo. That's FedSlop. I'm not saying Alpo's bad. It might be a great dog food. Might be amazing. But it's Alpo. Not a filet mignon. Not a Wagyu ribeye. Alpo. But I'll stop. I'll call it something. Cat turds. She sure doesn't know her birthday. Yeah, well, they get confused. Please shout out Exluminat for my gifted membership. There you go. After your episode showing TP Flag, TP USA, doubling of donations and added members after CKEK wedding, I think they're all CIA ops, including EK. Thoughts? R.I.P. Charlie. I don't know that particular agency, but it could be an op. I mean, I think it looks like that to me. I don't know. Don't you know? I don't know. It kind of looks oppy to me. $2 for FedSlop motion. Money well earned. Candace confirmed TR Steakhouse and meal. Yes. Estimate. Yeah. Candace mentioned Granny. Yeah. Also different EP mentions TR calling off work to help Granny move. Yeah, I mean, I'm well aware that the Granny story is out there. What I'm asking is the Granny story confirmed by Granny or one of the family members or someone who would know Tyler was actually at Granny's? That's one. Two, the restaurant, I believe someone called Candace and said he was here. I believe that. Well, I'm not doubting her veracity. What I'm doubting is I can't state it as fact on that. That's double hearsay. I need somebody to produce some sort of evidence he was there. I tend to believe he was there, but again, but Bavarian and LDS Bishop is like a pastor. Over 300 FAMs served for 3 to 4 years. Tyler's dad worked at my friend's cabinet shop for 10 years and goes there all the time. On Friday, told him to let them know they can trust you and reach out. Oh, please. Be happy to talk to him. Interesting connection there. Thank you for sharing. Graham Shar. Oh, 10. Oh, you're the one that's a grandmother at 10. We figured that out when they have Utah. I think we did University of Tennessee last time. Yeah, that's right. We already had you figured out. Got my peepers on you. As a mother of a 30-year-old daughter with Down syndrome, your opinion that retarded is okay as low IQ as it comes? Love your show. Do better. Yeah. I mean, I get it. I'm not saying it about anyone with any conditions other than being low IQ. Not low IQ like from a handicap, but low IQ like from eating too much FedSlop. That's all. I know people get all bent out of shape about it. I get it. Those slop texts read in Blake Neff's voice. Ooh. And then I got to go home. And then I got to retrieve my rifle. But there's a squad car. And I got to wait for it to leave. Yeah, it could. I mean, when I do the motion, I can feel it. I saw Meg Kelly, too, where she thinks new texts are real. I don't care. Baron Lance had a court order to stay away from parents. He had attacked with a knife his own mother. Her professional opinion didn't align with his Luna belief. Jesse can confirm. I'd like to see the court order. Does he have it? Tyler walked from his vehicle. Should there be at least 2 videos? One of him walking there and another one of him walking back to the car. Did he have a partner that dropped him off at DQ? I don't know, but he might have taken a different route. And in fact, there was a video of him going back to the car. It just was behind the houses instead of in front of the houses. And not Tyler necessarily, but whoever that was. The feds wrote the original text. Heard everyone said it read like a cop wrote it, so they went Tupac. Jesus is Lord. Yeah. B, widow here. Hubby died 7/21 from heart attack. Hiking. I found him. Oh my gosh. Started PhD 6 weeks later and defend 420. Fame leaders' response to grief in the workplace. CK is clearly abnormal, compelled to watch every day. Well, A, that sounds tragic about your July of 2021 loss of your husband. But on the other hand, it sounds like you've really buckled down and done a lot since then to make him proud, frankly. And I'm thankful for you sharing that with us. Thank you. Did you see the video on Twitter where astronaut drops beach ball and doesn't float and the rest of them are totally flummoxed? I did not, no. I did not. Erica, Kirk, Andrew, Mikey, and wife were in Palm Beach at Mass today. A relative saw Erica leave in a huff, clearly upset before Liturgy of the Eucharist. Really? Interesting. Is that true? I know someone who will want to see that. Hold, please. I know we're late, but I want to send this. You see how I typed that one because I want you to hear what I said with it? I can do the cool new stuff too. I'm not just an old man. Tyler hands himself. Any local CCTV nearby shops? I don't know what any of that means. I know what CCTV means. Tyler hands himself? I don't know what that means. I think Artemis 2 belief is like a 95.5 issue. I don't know. I don't know what that means either. 95 fake, then I agree with you. Do you get the Office gift set? Starts with an A. Yeah, I showed it on the member show. Did you not watch it? Talking about this? Isn't this awesome? This is nice. Iron. Allegedly. Yeah, I did. Thank you. I showed it on the member show. You should watch every show. You would see your gift being shouted out. And thank you very much for that. It's very kind. It's gonna be back here. At 15, I refused to be confirmed. I knew in my soul God didn't create animals for us to eat. Atheist 10 years, then saw Christ piracy. Cognitive dissonant theme, pro-Jesus doc, now back with church with dad. Oh, that's wonderful. That's an interesting story, Tea Party daughter. A really interesting story. Thank you for sharing that. Long and Winding Road, not the Beatles song. Can we remember Jesus Loves You merch? Yeah, we'll remember. What do you think about DJT's Truth Social rant? Evidence of senility, or is he trying to signal he's being held hostage? Is so far off the reservation, I feel like he's blinking twice for help. No, I didn't. Crazy. Stop promoting TPUSA. I'm not. I'm convinced you're going to figure this out. They're shaking in their boots. My wife and I watch every show. We love you, our brother in Christ. Christ is king indeed. He is risen. Thank you. I'm hustling through these. I just found out what time it was. I had no idea we'd gone that long. Obsessed. Started watching you after you were on CO, and now I'm going back to watch all the ones I've missed. We won't stop until we get the truth. Christ is king. You got a lot of fun ones to watch. First time commented. Love your show. So question may have been answered prior. Wouldn't Tyler's family be able to debunk the Fed's entire timeline since they were with him when he turned himself in? Hope I'm still high IQ. Yo, sure. How could TRC George Zen get arrested and then someone else get interrogated from his text messages? He jumping off the roof in seconds for the shot and ran off campus. Well, he had a phone. Maybe he saw the news. I don't know. Love this community. GBC, you should be proud. I am proud, Ivan. I am proud. You should be proud, too, of your studio. It's beautiful. Hi, Baron. Wish my father was like you are. Like you. Your kids are so lucky. Was thinking maybe Tyler went to Dairy Queen to prove he's outside the planned timeline. God is on your side. But he'd have to know that photo was going to get leaked. I don't know how he would know that. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Did you hear me testing before? Because that's what I say when I get my volume knob right. I was saying they probably did plan for TR to come in 3 hours later, would match their 33-hour manhunt, pre-planned speeches. He showed up early. They stuck with their lines. Not one of them could do the math. Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't considered that part. They just had this stuff all pre-written, and they're like, oh, well. Okay. Rowdy rhymes with Audi. Sorry, my other sentence wasn't clear. Rick written on the SUV seat. Tyler was a separate thought. My goof. Rick, I still don't know what that means, Edge. Rick written on the SUV seat. I don't know. I was alive in 63. Recall my first grade teacher sobbing. It made a definite impression on that child. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. Of course, you would be devastated if anything happened to a U.S. president. Do we have any theories yet about where other patsies ended up? Should we look into any reported suicides September 10 or 11 near Provo? Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. That's a really interesting question. I hadn't considered that. Where are all these other people? I still think Erica Kirk worth the Discord chats. Yeah, I see that. Wow, Rosie dropping 10 membos. 10 more people will be able to watch the Zach Costello interview from last Friday. Based on new text, what's most surprising about it to you? I did a whole show on it. You should watch it tonight. The iPhone capitalization was a great catch. Yeah, and look, that could just be a stylistic thing that as they were typing it out. I don't know. But it registered with me, so I mentioned it. Same things it wasn't supposed to. If anyone has a crazy blue boudoir, a new owner should update a place that rhymes with pillow. Lock it down, B. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. I don't know any of that mean. Crazy blue drawer, new owner, place rhymes with pillow. I don't know what wow, 2 months already. This community is absolutely amazing. Christ is king. Go Max. Go Max indeed. Christ is king indeed. Get to 5 membos. Thank you. Love the show and wanted to give your wonderful mods the credit they deserve as well. Go Max. They are amazing. They've created quite the community over there. That's why when people complain about them, I'm like, don't. They're doing a good job. We're not changing anything. Why hasn't LT been charged with accessory after the fact at least? Good question. Just want to say, have a blessed night to you and your family. Much support from the deep South Texas. Oh, everyone like and subscribe and join the Membos. Well, these 5 more people are going to be able to join the Membos right here. Thank you, Jamie. You and Zach together was so rich. Thank you and Zach for letting your lives be witnesses for Christ our King. Zach was great. If you're a member, you should watch that show Friday. Regarding life insurance, I meant that she could not even be considered a suspect in his murder in any way, above reproach. They don't want to pay benefits to someone suspected of murder in any way. I would agree with that. I've been defending our high IQ outfit on X like I would my own family. I want to thank all who have given positive feedback on my clips of Gary. Thank you. Baron, did you watch Candace's show on Friday? If so, what are your thoughts on it? I watched it. I thought it was stellar. I thought she took the right tone. She's very classy. She's smart. Like that's smart to be that classy. Thanks all. It's late for Mama 5. It's late for anyone. NAC multi-supplement helps ADHD. You're not alone with ADHD. I did not know that. Good call. NAC 600, you say? Keep up the good work. Been watching since your Google Trends vids. I use that tool for marketing, so I knew you were onto something. Thank you. That's why we used to use it. I just want to send the super chat to make Gary even more angry. Take that. What will this channel be like after we get justice for Charlie? Amazing. 24 minutes ago, Trump did a lengthy post on Truth Social slamming Pope Leo. That man has no filters anymore. I'll have to look at that afterwards because I'm trying to hustle through these last few. And even though I'm late, before you go, I just want to say God loves you, Baron. Oh, thank you. And you as well. Baron John Bray just dropped new evidence on it. It's insane. Keep it going. Go Max. I'll check that out as well. Let me write both of these down. Truth, John Bray, new. There we go. Can they make Tyler redo the jump from the building? No, I don't think any judge would make that. Trump just attacked the Pope. Yeah. And Lotus rant of insults. Yeah, we'll have to look at that. You don't call retarded people retards. It's bad taste. You call your friends retards when they're acting retarded. Michael Scott, The Office. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. That's all. If the Audi button turns into, then he didn't offend. Okay. Pretty sure Candace had a receipt from the waitress at Steakhouse. Well, yeah, that would be compelling, honestly. Have you ever reviewed the deep dive into the Discord message between TR and Lance in the weeks before CK's assassination? It's exposed by the roommate. That Turkey Tom is so much Fed slop. I am not going to entertain anything on it. I did a whole episode on it back in October. Go back and find it. It is stellar investigative work by your humble host, if I do say so myself. Total Fed slop, total junk, total garbage, in my opinion. Watch the main judge, SNL, Judge Coleman. Okay. Duly noted. Finally get to catch you live. Well, thank you, Laura Joe. Finally get to catch your comment live. I tune in for the show, but I stay for the impressions. Yes. They're good. Almost never stop and never get live. I caught this. Your inspo for this lawyer who seeks truth and love of my kids forced to stop practicing law. Lawyer Carrie, your kids will be grateful for your time with them. Sorry if this was said, but the sheriff said when he got the first phone call, he was at home winding down for the night, not at a press conference. Yeah, we talked about that. Two different sheriffs. You're conflating the two sheriffs. From our friends over at Grumble. Hi, Baron. Would it be possible for AI to take someone's handwriting and produce a letter that makes it look like? It would be quite scary. Those texts also sound like AI. Yes, it would be. That's why the photo is irrelevant to me. I want to see the letter. Oh, we burned it. Oh, sorry. How do we even know it was handwriting? Nonsense. Today marks 100 days without alcohol. A-Train, I bet you are feeling amazing. Your advice over the past few months has helped shape this new improved version of myself. Thank you. A-Train, your life is going to be better. I promise you. Don't go back. Don't go back. Not one day. Going back to your podcast on Google Trends, you were a wiggler. Yeah, I've gotten better. Practice makes perfect. It reminds me of Steve Martin as the wild and crazy guy. Martin is also a renowned banjo picker here in Western North Carolina. You're awesome, sir. I had no idea about the banjo. But yeah, I was a wild and crazy guy. My first Grumbler gift to you, wanted to let you know. I sent you an email with the obituary of CK and EK's OBGYN. Please look for it. It's labeled as such. Go Max, Christ is King. Thank you. Duly noted. Piper Poppy picked a peck of pickled peppers. What do you think of the Fed slop conservative flip-flops? Example, Nick Fuentes, Alex Jones. Now, Alex Jones, who originally said Candace was wrong, now on Trump's list of low IQs. Well, Alex is the only one that's a flip-flopper that I'm aware of. I don't think any of the rest of them have flip-flopped. They just were solid. TR is the guy from the beginning. So I don't think they flip-flopped. So I don't know. All right, guys. Oh, there's a few more, actually. I thought I was at the end. Third chat. CO, episode 2, credit card receipt. My movie, referral, Lawless, 2012, Prohibition Era, true story. Okay, interesting. I will check out the credit card receipt. I wasn't aware she had a receipt. I thought she just had a statement from somebody, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Regarding the door handle, Baron, you're correct. I have an AT4 Yukon. I did not realize Denali interior door handle didn't have the same chrome around it. It's my fault. That is why you're high IQ. Appreciate you, sir. Actually, after Ali's podcast, if I must confess in full, I called Candace and said, will you send me the picture of the SUV so I can double check the door handle, please? Because I had to know. So thank you. Artemis 2 made Apollo 11 look real. Yeah, it was so fake. I didn't know where you were going with that. When Tyler goes to Cop Shop, video been deleted, but can we check CCTV at shops nearby to confirm his arrival? Love from Scotland, Crisis King. Crisis King indeed. I don't know. Are there shops nearby? I don't know where the jail is there. And it's been 7 months. I don't know that anyone would still have it. Might be worth asking. Is it possible police were telling Lance what to say to Tyler? Oh, yeah, that's possible. 100% that's possible. Why did you do this? How long have you been planning this? Or Lance trying to distance himself from the deed with those questions? Great question. I don't know, but I do know this. We've almost been on for 4 hours. That's too long. No, it's not. It's just the right amount of time. I'm like a wizard. Whenever I arrive, it's on time. So guys, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for joining me here. I've always loved having you. This is such a wonderful community. It is unbelievable community that we've built here. And I enjoy hearing from you guys, successes, even the pains. I mean, it makes me feel good, not because you're in pain, obviously, but it makes me feel good because you feel comfortable enough with this community that you share that. And that's amazing to me. That's really amazing to me. So happy Easter, everyone. We're on day 8 of the Easter octave. If you're in the Latin rite, if you're in the Eastern side, then you're on day 1 of the Easter octave. But either way, no matter how you celebrate, just remember, always remember, Jesus loves you. Have a wonderful night. I'll be back tomorrow evening. And look forward to having you here with me. We're going to have a banger of a show. We'll have a lot of fun. I don't know if tomorrow is when I'm going to get to the FBI planes or not. I do want to get to those. There's some really interesting stops in the days and weeks leading up to the Big Bang. And so I do want to get to that at some point. But in the meantime, guys, have fun. And look forward to seeing you back tomorrow.